Hey, what up, y'all? It's your boy DKane. I'm here with my co-host RazorATX.
What's up, guys?
And joining us, we have Roflgator. A lot of you probably know him. He's actually been known from anything to esports coaching, GTA RP. He also is part of one of the biggest role-playing servers in the world in VRChat. And he just hit 300,000 followers, and my brother calls you the DGen King of Twitch.
That
What
is
up, Rob?
true. What's up? Thanks for having me, guys. It's good to be here.
Yeah, man, it's good to have you. We're going to pretty much just start this off real basic. We just kind of want to learn more about you. I guess we can start with the real simple question. Where are you from and how did you get into streaming?
Okay. Well, should we start off with the shots?
Oh yeah,
Dude,
Good point.
this is why you're already a great guest. Let's do this.
All right. Cheers.
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 Good way to start off.
Okay.
Jägermeister.
Get all loosened up.
So how did I get into streaming?
Let's just say where you're from starting. Like,
Um,
your childhood, things like that.
I grew up in, this is going to sound like a joke, but I grew up in the hood of Chicago. My parents were very, very poor. I was an unexpected kid. My parents were 40 years old when they had me. I had a sister that was 20 years older, or 20 years older than me. So yeah, 20 when I was born. And I grew up in a really, really crappy neighborhood. And basically what happened was when I was super young, I was walking down the street with my dad, my mom, and my godfather, and there was this homeless person that lives on my block. And he was like talking to himself. And I looked at him and I was like, who are you talking to? And he threatened to kill me. Like,
Wait,
he
how old
literally-
were you?
I was probably like 5 or 6, like really, really young. I couldn't tell you how old I was exactly, but like super young. So this homeless person threatened to kill me straight up, like right there. And my dad didn't understand English. My mom understood this dude, and my mom was like, come here, come here. And what ended up happening is my mom was too scared to let me leave the house, right, for like a long time. And my dad was like a professional boxer growing up. So if he found out that this guy wanted to kill me, like he would have started
Killed
fighting
him.
this guy. Yeah.
Oh man.
So
Wow.
what ended up happening was my mom told me to keep it a secret from my dad and to just stay home, like not leave the house, because this guy lived outside of my house, straight up. Like even to this day, I have like a fear of homeless people because of this, right? But what ended up happening is because of this, I had to stay home like 24/7, just play games. Like my mom bought me like Super Nintendo and like a bunch of games, and then eventually I got like an N64, and
And this is how streamers are made.
yeah. So basically, I wasn't allowed to leave the house because it was already a rough neighborhood as it is, and I was like definitely a minority in my neighborhood.
Right.
And I stayed home all day and I played games. And since I'd like beat the games, I'd get bored and I would literally, like, as cringe as this sounds, I would start role playing in these games like by myself. Like I'd be playing Zelda and I'd be going to like the market and like buying stuff and pretend like I'm taking it home to like, like I'd have my own home in Zelda, like that was like one of the buildings, and I'd visit places and stuff like that and pretend like I would solo role play all the time. And this is like what kind of like formed this like escapism in my head where I had to constantly play a character or like be someone else, or else I'd get bored.
That's really cool. One thing I wanted to ask, but I didn't want to interrupt you. Your dad didn't understand English?
No,
So-
from
neither of my
Poland?
parents did. They were
Oh,
both
really?
immigrants,
Okay.
From
I didn't know
both
that.
from Poland.
both from Poland.
That's cool. So your mom learned how to speak English first, and then does your dad ever?
Yeah, they were both like progressively. So my mom
Okay.
owned a deli, so we lived in a deli, straight up. Like the downstairs was a deli, and the upstairs was a 2-bedroom apartment that we shared with another family. So I had to sleep with my dad, my mom, and like our cats and like everything in like one room. It was pretty weird.
So
It's like Bob's Burgers.
Yeah.
are you telling us like the story of your life, or are you like pitching some movie idea?
I'm not pitching. This is my life, dude. Like this is how I grew
This
up.
is crazy.
It's funny when you're telling this story. It reminds me of like my parents' stories about when they were young. So like, but you obviously you're like early 30s. Is that right?
Let's say early 30s.
Okay.
My birthday's coming up. I don't
Um,
want to think about it.
but
Yeah.
it just reminds me of like, that I feel like that's a story I'd hear from like someone like way older than you. So it's like it's really a unique way to have like grown up for sure.
I
yeah.
feel like it's like a story that I would only hear from him.
Yeah.
That's like, it sounds like a movie to me.
That's how I grew up,
Yeah.
and it was really weird. Eventually, when I was in 5th grade, we moved to the suburbs, and life was much easier. Like let's just say
Yeah.
that. Like it was definitely a lot easier. I didn't like I didn't have to watch what I say all the time. I didn't have to like watch my back all the time and be like, "Uh-oh, is this kid gonna beat me up?" Like it was definitely a lot easier. So after that, like um I kind of ended up like becoming like a class clown. I would like go into class and just have fun all the time because I didn't care anymore. And that's kind of what like made me have fun like entertaining people because eventually I would just try to make my classrooms laugh all the time. I'd get kicked out of all my classes, but I would have fun doing it. And I was like, man, this is really fun. And
So
then-
you were the class clown.
yeah.
Yeah.
And what happened eventually was I started playing games, and my friends were like, "You should start streaming." And I was like, "All right, like I'll try it." And I was playing League of Legends back then, and I was the only person playing Renekton. And because Renekton had just come out, and everyone thought he was garbage because he was like nerfed right off the bat. Like the second he was released, he was nerfed, so no one was playing him. And what popped off my stream, I still remember the game, was I was playing against two TSM players. I was playing against X Special and the Odd One. And I was top against X Special because he used to play top lane. And I destroyed him. And he was like, "Bro, I need help, dude. Odd One, I need your help." And the Odd One would come top to like gank for him. And Renekton has this thing. I don't know if you guys play League, but Renekton has this thing at level 6 where he could like use his ultimate and like gain most of his health back and just bait people and kill them.
Yeah.
So I kept doing that because most people didn't know how good Renekton was. And I would 2v1 them. Your cat is so funny.
Dude, he is. This is not what he normally does. He just knocked the Red Bull over. I'm sorry, like he's not
Alright,
usually
yeah,
that bad.
Like, do you have a spill? Like, is it spilled?
No,
Oh.
no, but anyways, continue. I was trying not to, but he's being bad today.
So I was a little bit of a shitlord back then. And what ended up happening was after I 2v1 them, I spammed chat and I was like, "I don't know why you guys are watching these clowns when you could be watching me instead." And then I kept spamming my Twitch channel. And then like I developed like a little community from that.
Dude, toxic, but funny. That is hilarious.
Mhm.
And that was like one of my first streams and it popped off. And then me and my friends like found this little like trick where you could launch each other's streams in like mobile quality and just open multiple tabs. So we would all just launch each other's streams with multiple tabs and like it would boost our viewers to like 200. It was basically a legal view bot. Like I'll say it right now. I did a legal view bot. Okay, it wasn't against Twitch TOS. All right.
Right.
And we would because it used no bitrate and you could just launch like 50 tabs and then like that helped me like early on. Guilty, like that was definitely like not a good thing to do, but it worked. Like it worked. And
No
then my
shame.
stream,
No shame.
and then my
That's
stream
great.
slowly started like popping off. And
How long ago was that you started doing that? Was this like on
Justin
Twitch?
TV.
It was
Justin
Justin TV. Okay.
Wow.
I was actually one of the first like partnered people, like Twitch, Justin TV era.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Did you already know my brother then?
I watched your brother. I was a big fan of your brothers, but we weren't friends yet.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
you found the early cheat code.
Yeah.
That's awesome though.
Well, that's not. After a while, what they did is like people started actually viewbotting, and the way they countered viewbotting was by making it so only one IP could watch streams. So you the mobile quality multi-tab thing stopped working. So I had to like do everything on my own after a while. Like they completely patched that because other people were doing it, and it wasn't against TOS. Like you could just do it. Like
Yeah.
like it didn't break any rules. And eventually, like Twitch caught on, and they made it so only one IP could be a viewer.
Yeah.
And then I mean, I got partnered after that. And when I got partnered, you had to average like 1,000 viewers. So I averaged like 1,000 legitimate viewers
Right.
after that.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's such a nuts story. I love that. though.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard anything like that. The only person that I know really that streamed back then like was my brother, like personally that I've talked to. So I think Alinity had mentioned that she had streamed that far back too.
Your brother and Phantom Lord were like my two like
Yeah.
big streams that I would watch before Phantom Lord committed like career suicide.
Yeah. Yeah, we won't even go into that. You did mention how you would role play games playing or growing up by yourself. What was your favorite game, I guess, of your childhood?
Definitely Zelda games.
Good
Mega
man.
Man X was a big game of mine. I didn't role play in it, but it was one of my favorite
Love that
games
game.
Why didn't you role play?
because you can't really role play in Mega Man X. I mean, what can you do?
Yes.
No, you're right.
You just stage select. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like Final Fantasy VII was a big game for me growing up. And the thing is, we were really poor, and my mom wouldn't buy me a memory card because she thought it was a waste of money. So what I had to do was leave my PlayStation on at all times,
Oh
right?
man.
24/7, my PlayStation had to stay on. So I beat all of Final Fantasy VII without turning off my PlayStation. Whenever I had to swap discs, my friend would have to come over, bring his memory card. We'd have to like save the game because you couldn't switch discs without saving. So we would have to save the game. He'd have to like bring his memory card over. Then I could put in the next disc. Then he could leave for like a couple months until I made it to the next disc. And then I would have to like get his memory card again so I could go to the third disc. And then eventually the power went out. But he would come over every like once in a while to help me save state. I lost like a month of progress, but it was still pretty good.
So what I'm hearing from this is your entire childhood, pretty much actually your entire life, you have been an innovator. You kind of just figured it out, like whatever you needed to do to make things work is what I'm hearing.
When you grow up with like nothing, you find just the weirdest ways to make things work out. And I think it helps me a lot today with like streaming because I do have to like constantly come up with new ideas and
Right.
stuff. And I think the reason I am where I am today is because of that, because
Yeah.
I didn't have anything handed to me. I had to like work for everything.
Yeah, no, that's what it sounds like. And that's crazy and massive credit to you because
Thanks.
that's impressive. I don't think a lot of people could do that. Like, there's usually a balance. Either someone's really good at what you're talking about, or everything has just been handed to them. But yeah, you sound you sound like you had to like kind of work and figure everything that you have out.
Yeah, well, now that my stream is doing well, everything is pretty much handed to me. So it works out now because now I get to enjoy the fruits of everything. But it definitely took a lot to get to where I am.
But
It took years.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of how it is with anything, though.
Mhm.
Like you got to work. But then once you're over that hump, it's downhill, kind of like easy. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, now I just have to fight to stay relevant. Like that's my main thing, And
I feel like
and
you've done pretty good at that. I mean,
I'm
I
okay at
knew
it.
you were. Yeah.
I just suck at networking, honestly. I refuse to like pretend to be friends with someone, and I refuse to even for the sake of like, hey, you want to collab? Like I refuse to collab with someone unless I actually like what they do and I like them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel like that's fair.
Yeah.
we saw
The tweet.
it was yesterday or the
Yeah.
day before.
Yeah.
You got that tweet? Flip. I think we pulled it.
It's funny you brought that up yourself.
Yeah. How do I network without feeling cringe? I want to make genuine friendships and not watch a bunch of people suck each other off because of their viewer counts.
So I feel like right now, especially in Twitch, there's a lot of like super forced friendships, right? Like a lot of people that'll just be like, "Yo, dude, I love the stuff you do," and then whenever they do that, I always ask them, I'm like, "What do you like the most?" And they'll be like, all of it. Like, it's all great. And I'll be like, really? And we have this like joke where we do on my stream where like people will be like, like my chat like catches on. And I'll be like, what specifically do you like? Like name one specific thing you like about my stream. Most of the time people will be like, well, and they'll name something like super generic because they're just like trying really, really hard to like, force a friendship on me. And me and my chat have kind of made that into a joke where like whenever people come up and say that stuff, like immediately I'll call them out on it. I'll be like, so what's your favorite moment? And then occasionally there'll be someone who'll be like, oh dude, I love the way that you have the Wednesday nights where you do this, this, and this. And then my chat will be like, dude, real viewer, like real fan, like not a fake person. And like we're really good at like sniffing out,
And that's good.
disingenuous people.
Do you you kind of like tied networking and genuine friendships together, and I don't think a lot of people do that. So I'm
Mhm.
curious, is it mainly that because I know I've seen like a lot of your cooking stream and stuff, you could tell all those people are your friends,
Mhm.
Is that like what you want to do with your content, basically like do it with your friends and make it really like authentic?
So I think the best content is when you're with people that you get along with really well. Like for example, when you have like me, Seer, and Chance in a room, there's like a 90% chance that something's gonna end up like on the front page of like Reddit,
Right.
And it just makes it feel more genuine, and we bounce off each other so much better. I feel like I think it's pretty obvious when you have people that don't really like have that chemistry together, and it almost just feels like fake. I don't know. I'm not into it. Like it's just not my style.
I mean, to me, that is very fair. And that's what it seems like to me a lot of the times. And I also can see the point where you're just going to collab with someone because you're just networking and you guys want to go off each other. But like you said, if you have that connection with someone, it makes the content that much better. And on top of that, it makes, at least when I do it, makes me feel very comfortable streaming. But I also have been put in situations where I didn't know if I had good chemistry with someone. I was just networking with them, and it has either worked or not really worked, you know?
Yeah.
Have you ever been put in a situation where you were streaming with someone, like a networking situation, and you realized that y'all really didn't have chemistry? You don't have to think of a specific time. I mean, if you do have one, but
I'm a pretty good people person when it comes to like my stream. I'm pretty good at bouncing off people and like reading the room and like telling like, okay, maybe they feel uncomfortable with this and maybe that. I do a pretty good job because we do like the dating show every Thursday, and we've had like every like big streamer on there at some point, like XQC, Aiden Ross, like even Amaranth. Like we
Yeah.
had everyone on there at some point or another, and like that's a very diverse group of people that you would never expect on VRChat. But I always try to like work with them. The part that makes me anxious is when I'm not there to like make sure that things are going right. Because what happened was Soldier Boy came to VRChat once.
Yeah.
And he hung out with us and he had a great time. Like he was like, yo, this is the best thing ever. Like there was this guy playing Goku who's like a voice actor. And he voice acts Goku in like a bunch of like parodies and stuff like that. And he like literally sounds like Goku. Like exactly. And he went there and he did like a Kamehameha and he was like screaming as Goku. And he was like, that's Goku. That's motherfucking Goku, dude. And he was so excited about it. Like it was like a kid in a candy shop.
I think I saw a clip of this.
Yes,
I think
it popped off. There was a clip
Yeah.
of that popped off hardcore. And he came the next day into VRChat because he was so excited and just ended up hanging out with a bunch of people that weren't me, like the morning crew VRChat people, which was like a bunch of people that aren't the most fun and exciting people. And he was like, yo, I ain't never playing this shit again. What the hell is this, man? Like he felt so weird and he was just gone forever. So I do a pretty good job of making people feel comfortable, but I do think that the game itself like is tough.
Yeah.
So yeah, like whenever I'm not there, that's the part where I feel really weird when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I want to go back a little bit to before we get too far into VRChat stuff. For a little while, you were an esports coach. Envision, Energy. How did you end up getting into that, and what was the experience like?
So I started Overwatch and I was top 500 the first couple of seasons. Like a lot of people considered me like a very, very solid player. I had like pretty good stats. Like it's a useless stat, but I had like the #1 accuracy in the world as Tracer and Diva. And I would like post that on Twitter and just gloat and be like, yo, check my stats. I'm #1 in the world in accuracy.
Wait. Before I get too far, someone that doesn't understand Overwatch, why is that not a big, like, why does that not matter? That sounds huge to me.
Because people will always like say like, oh, he's just shooting tanks. Like he's just shooting the big targets. Like this guy doesn't care. But the thing is, I had the win ratio to back it up, you know, because it meant that whatever I was doing, like it was working. Like I was top 500 and I had like top accuracy like in the whole game. So like it worked out pretty well. There was a lot of people that were way better than me. Like we had a 1v1 Tracer tournament and Surefour absolutely like dominated me, like made me his bitch. So and that's when I kind of had a reality check. Like I fucking suck at this game, dude. Like I can't compete with this guy, dude. And we learned a big lesson from that. So I still wanted to try to play competitively because I grew up playing games competitively. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it one more try and see how it goes. So I made a team. My team was, I don't even remember what it was called. I don't even remember what my team was called, but I've been drinking. But I made a team with a bunch of friends, and we were probably like the 8th best team in North America at that point. And we were facing the best European team, which was called IDDQD at that moment. They were undefeated. They were destroying everyone, and they were unstoppable. Like they were on a 40-game winning streak or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And we had created this comp that involved running Zenyatas and all this stuff and like Genjis and Symmetras, and we almost beat them. Like we were the first team to almost beat them. And Mendo messaged me because Mendo was on this team. Mendo and Fick, was their names, and
they were on your team or they were on
the opposite team.
Got it.
Mendo messaged me and he was like, bro, who came up with that comp that you guys were running? And I was like, that was me. And he's like, dude, that's a sick comp. Like after we played you guys, we ran that and it was sick. And I was like, thanks. And he's like, do you like come up with all this stuff for your team? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, you should try coaching for my team. And I was like, I mean, I've never coached before. Like I did a little bit in League of Legends, but I could try. And then I joined in on them, and I was like just spectating their games and being like, yo, you guys should try this and you guys should try this. And like they were trying out all these strats and it was working out. And Mendo approached me and was like, I think you should join our team. Like me and Fick would really, really think it would benefit like both of us if you join the team. Like I understand that you want to play the game, but I mean we're gonna like have like we're gonna have a sponsor sign us, and I think it'll be really big. And what happened was Rogue approached me, which is like one of the biggest esports. And because I had a friend in Rogue named Frank, who was the owner of a team before that called Enemy, which was a org that disbanded long ago. But they were like LCS, like they were top of the line. And he was like, hey, do you know anything about Overwatch? Because I'm planning on making a new team. And I'm like, well, I just so happen to be coaching a new team that's looking for a sponsor. He's like, yeah, you know, like we've got big investors and we're making this new org and we would love to see what you guys have. And then we had a bit of a weird thing that happened, because what happened was they wanted to come in and spectate the scrims without the players knowing. I was like, okay, I suppose I could do that. But they didn't realize that there was some pretty racist Europeans in this team, okay? And they were saying some pretty questionable stuff, okay?
Yeah.
The first day like was a really bad impression. Like they were like, so how often do they use those words? And I'm like, I'm sorry, they didn't know that you guys were coming in, you know, like you guys told me to keep it a secret and I did. And they're like, okay, well you should probably talk to them about that. And then like I made them like clean up their act. I was like, yo, you guys can't say this stuff because like I'm trying to like send the VODs of our games to like professional teams. And they're like, oh, why didn't you tell us? And I'm like, well, because they told me not to. They wanted to see how your comms were without like them seeing it. And I wasn't expecting you guys to say that stuff either. So, but then we tried again and it went super good. And Rogue ended up signing the team. We gave them their first team ever. And we won like 3 LANs in a row.
Oh, nice.
We were like the best team in Overwatch for a while. But I felt super out of place with this team because I was the only North American on the team, and their time zones were all shitty. And there was a North American team with like Cool Mad and Buds and all these like really cool people that I was super friends with, and they were like, "You should just try out for our team instead." And I got on that team, and they were kind of like a nobody team, but I started coaching them, and then we started popping off. And then
when you say tryout, do you mean coach?
like coach.
Okay, okay.
So I started coaching this team, and then this team started popping off. And they were like, you should join our team instead. And I was like, all right, fuck it. Like, I'll join your team. And because I would rather be on a shittier team that like I'm comfortable with
Me too.
than like this team that like is doing all that. And then Fnatic approached us and was like, yo, like, I mean, Fnatic was like the biggest org in the world at that point. Like they were massive, and they were like, we'll sign you guys. Like you guys are great. And we traveled the world. Like we did OGN, which is like the biggest esports thing in the world. Like if you do well in OGN, you do well anywhere. But we didn't do well in OGN because the meta shifted as we went there, and it was a really bad thing. Long story. But we had a really good time. Like we were considered like the second best team in the world for like a few months. And then after that, my dad got sick, and I had to quit esports and like full time like take care of my dad because he had cancer at that moment. So I was like, guys, I need to like take a step back. Like I can't do this anymore. Then Fnatic ended up disbanding, and I joined Envision, which the owner of Envision, I will say this anywhere, is a huge dickhead. He is a piece of shit, dude. This dude
called out.
This dude.
Wait, are they still a thing?
No, they're done.
Okay, good.
So what ended up happening is there was this millionaire. His name was Arthur. I don't remember much. I think his name was Arthur.
Damn, called out.
He started this org, right? And what ended up happening was this dude made a bunch of money off like bet sites. And he was not responsible with his money at all. Like he just decided he was going to make an org. He promised us all this stuff. He's like, I'm going to give you guys housing. I'm going to give you guys all this stuff. Never came through on anything, right? All the other teams had like player housing, like everything you could possibly imagine, right? We didn't have any of that stuff. Like
it was promised.
Yeah, it was promised. So we got second place in contenders, which was pretty good. Like considering all the resources we had versus the resources the other teams had.
Yeah.
We got second place. He said, he calls me one night. He's like, bro, you guys are so shit. I pay you guys so much money and you guys got second place, like drunk out of his mind.
Oh,
What am
God.
I doing with you guys? And I'm like, bro, what about all this stuff you promised us? Player housing, all this stuff. I'm not gonna give player housing to a team that sucks. And we're like, dude, like the team that beat us like had like ridiculous resources, like player housing. They had Overwatch League teams that they could scrim against. They had everything you could possibly imagine. Like it was envious. Like they
Dude,
have
this
everything.
guy sounds like a dickhead.
He was a dickhead.
This
He was a
sounds
massive
bad,
dickhead.
like really bad. Like,
He dude, I could talk about this dude for hours, but it's
And now,
better
and
than
he didn't pay you your last paycheck, right?
So our last paycheck, I had to literally like I wanted to threaten legally this guy. Like I was looking for lawyers and stuff, but he lives in like Canada, like French Canadian lands, and like it would have been a super
it messy.
complicated process.
my brother's a lawyer.
Yeah, he is. At this point, it's like not enough money to
yeah.
be worth.
Yeah.
At a certain point, he paid me half and just ignored all the players because I made such a fuss about it. Like I went out on interviews, and then he went in on an interview, and he literally called me the F word in an interview. He was
Wow,
like, "This
professional.
guy is an F word," and like fuck this guy, you know, like all this stuff. And yeah, I don't know what he did after that. I think he tried to start a site and that stuff. Like a bunch of like the old Envision guys kind of called him out on it, and I think that didn't work out either. But the dude is just a piece of shit. Like he is just garbage.
Oh,
Like,
that's
garbage
what it
human.
sounds like.
Yeah.
Like everything you said, like immediately, I don't like this guy.
I will say, if you are doing esports, don't ever join a small org unless they are like somewhat reputable. Because I've been in many small orgs and a lot of them just take advantage of players. They're like 90% of the time, they're like very quick, like some millionaire wants to start a quick org. He has no idea what he's doing. There's no player manager. There's nothing. Like if the org doesn't have a player manager, like right away, just say no
Yeah.
matter what.
Okay.
90% of the times they don't pay their players. Like they're not the only org that owes me money. There's multiple orgs that owe me money. I just don't ever want to do esports again, if I'm gonna be honest. Like Envious was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Fnatic was pretty good. The rest, Rogue was good too, but the rest I would never
Never again. How many do
never.
you think there were? Like little small ones that you tried?
Hundreds.
Hundreds.
Mhm.
Dude, that means you have to like be trying one like every other day, right?
Well,
I mean,
when Overwatch first came out,
mhm.
Blizzard talked a lot about esports, and they were all about like, yo, like we're gonna make esports great for this game, and everyone wanted a piece of that. So every single person that had $1 million was like, I'm gonna start an org because at that point, like, I mean, I was making pretty good money, but like the average team was making like the average player was making anywhere between $500 to $1,500 a month, so you could afford an Overwatch team relatively cheap.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like anywhere between like I don't know, like $3,000 to like $10,000 a month, you could have an Overwatch team, and you could like have them play at tournaments and earn you like prizes and stuff like that. We've had orgs that have held on to our fucking our prizes and like put them in a bank and collected interest on them and gave us it like 6 months later.
Oh man.
Like there's a whole bunch of like
Wait, like
shady
so they
stuff
kept
going
it, but they kept it, and then they gave you the interest on it. Did they pay
on.
you?
They didn't give us the interest on it.
They
They
did-
kept
they
the
kept the
interest.
interest.
They kept
And
the
they said,
interest,
"Oh,
and they
well."
gave us the money like 6 months later.
At
We-
first, when you said that, I was like, "That's awesome of them," and now it sounds horrible of them.
We had orgs that promised us housing and stuck players in garages with no air conditioning. Like there's a whole bunch of like shady stuff that goes on.
Is that
in
all
esports.
pre-Overwatch League?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's all pre-Overwatch League.
Yeah.
And we learned a lot about it. We would travel the world and end up in like hotels with like rats in the walls, like because everyone wanted to be a penny pincher and they all wanted to save money. So like we had rats in the walls, we had rats coming out of toilets, we had all sorts of like horror stories. Like they'd be like, well, you know, this hotel is only 2 miles away, so you guys can just walk to the LAN venue every day. It's only a 2-mile walk, so we'd have to like walk like 2 miles every day to like get to this LAN venue to practice and stuff like that. Then we'd have to walk 2 hours back every day. Like it was.
Where
it
was the
a-
worst place you've been? If you is there like a specific place where you were like, "Holy fuck"?
I didn't go here, but there was some European tournament where Cool Matt called me and like literally like was like screen sharing on his phone like rats like just like crawling around a place, and you could hear them scratching on the walls and stuff, and like the walls were like paper thin, like we could all hear each other like through, or they could hear each other through the walls and stuff. Like
Did you have
it
any
was bad.
idea like where it was, like in the
I-
world, or was it?
I think it was not London, but the UK. I think it was
The
in the UK
UK.
at that moment. But I don't remember. I'd have to ask Cool Matt because
Yeah.
he was the one who told me about it, and I don't remember. It's all blur because we were in UK, Germany, Sweden, Poland, Korea,
Dang, you've been all over.
yeah. So it's just like it's all blur to me at this point because we've been to so many countries.
Okay, then can't think of the worst place, but what is you personally have visited? What is the best place that you've gone? That you personally were like, this is awesome.
London was really cool because we were right next to the Fnatic headquarters and they gave us a bunch of resources.
Yeah.
Sweden was cool because everyone there is like a gamer. Although the food there was like so mid. And they had this place called Texas Barbecue. And
Sweden.
In Sweden. It was called Texas Barbecue. So I was like, I'm going to try this place out. And it was nothing like you would expect. It was not
Texas barbecue.
So the worst thing about Europe is no free refills anywhere, even in the Texas barbecue place. And we're like, bruh, like if this was Texas barbecue, like there'd be free refills. Dude.
And the cups would be huge.
Yeah, and the cups would be they give you like little tiny cups. You got to pay for all your refills and stuff like that. On the bright side, you don't have to tip anywhere there, so that's pretty good. And they had like instead of Burger King, they have Hamburger Princeton, which was Hamburger Prince, and that's where we had to go every day. And they did not know how to make a hamburger. We went to pizza places, and there's all like you can't just get like a pepperoni and sausage pizza at this place. Like it's like corn and like
what?
Like euros and like all this stuff. Like there's like I don't know, kebab sauce on their pizzas and stuff.
They put corn on pizza.
Yeah, like kebab, corn, all sorts of stuff. It was very interesting. I just wanted a pepperoni and sausage pizza. And their pepperonis were like big slices of like salami and stuff. And they're like, yeah, this is pepperoni. And I'm like, that's not pepperoni, that's salami, dog. Like, I don't know what you're trying to convince me.
I mean, I'd love to try it, but it doesn't sound like I would like it personally, but
it's different.
What was your taste? What was there any food where you were like, this is awesome?
Dude, I'm a picky eater.
Yeah.
There was no place where I was like, dude, the food here is so good. Whenever I go to Cali, the food there is good. I actually don't like the food in Austin, surprisingly. Like, I felt like Chicago food was so much better.
It's hit or miss in Austin for me. I've lived here my whole life.
But that's probably because I don't like breakfast tacos. And I feel like everything here is just breakfast tacos and barbecue. And I think barbecue's okay, but like Chicago had like good pizza.
The food trucks, by the way. Just try every food truck.
I'm from New York, so I feel exactly what you're saying.
Yeah,
deli meat tastes different here.
Yeah, I agree.
Even the same brand of deli meat tastes different here.
I agree with you.
Yes.
I don't like the water here. The water here tastes like chlorine to me.
Yeah.
What?
I swear.
don't know about that, but yeah, maybe it has a little different of a taste. But to me, I've liked all the food here. I've been everywhere, but there are places that are misses for sure in Austin.
Yeah. I one thing I'll say is Mexican food here not that great.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be good.
There are some places that are pretty good.
Yeah.
But dude, Chicago is just so good at food, man. Like it's just like I feel like Austin is just not there yet.
Are you a deep dish enjoyer?
I actually do love deep dish. I love Illuminati's. If you guys are ever in Chicago,
You're part of the Illuminati?
Yeah.
Oh. Wow, cool. No, well, I actually don't know what Illuminati is, by the way.
Illuminati's is a pizza place.
Oh, okay.
That's like top tier. If you're ever in Chicago, there's two places that you should check out: Portillo's and Illuminati's are my big ones.
Portillo's like the very famous one, right?
Yeah, they're like it's like kind of like fast food. It's all junk food. And if you ever go there, like get a cake shake. So what they do is they take a slice of cake, put it in a milkshake, and call it a cake shake, and it's amazing. It's like the best thing ever.
That does sound like it would be good.
It is.
Yeah.
So I think we dug up something about you having a YouTube that got accidentally deleted. Is that right?
Dude, I'm still dealing with this to this day. So what happened was I had a YouTube editor, and this YouTube editor, so my YouTube was on my main account, which I did not want to give this dude the info to my main account. He was like,
main account of what?
Like my main like Gmail account and my YouTube were like
the
same.
Got it. Okay.
And I wanted this dude to upload videos for me because I wanted to do as little as possible. So he was like, you can merge your account with like a different account and everything will work out. So I tried that, and what ended up happening was both the accounts got completely obliterated. My whole YouTube channel disappeared. I contacted YouTube support about it 100 times, and they still to this day cannot figure out how to fix it. It's just completely gone. And now when I look at like, I made a new YouTube account. It made a new YouTube account, and I've just been using it, but I have so many weird issues with it. For example, it's tied under an email that's like Roflgator 49169 at like some weird site.com, like some generic like site. You can't even go to the website to check the email. Like it doesn't exist. Like the
Wow.
website doesn't exist. So I've been trying desperately. Like I message Tectone, I message everyone that like does YouTube, and I'm like, bro, do you have anyone at YouTube that could like help me out? Everyone's like, nah, man, like I don't know what to do, bro. Like I can't help you out. I've talked to multiple like of those like generic like Twitter, YouTube guys. All of them are like, yeah, we're on it, dude. Don't worry. Never contact me back. Like my channel is just fucked. Like it's just completely gone.
And how long has this been going on?
Like 3 years now.
3
4
years. And this happened about 3 years ago, and it's still happening,
Yeah.
basically? That's
And you had
yeah,
a lot
that's
of
crazy.
content on it.
Yeah, I had some videos that had over like 500,000 views and
Yeah.
stuff, and it's all gone. Like there's just no way to access it.
And it's just gone.
It's
like
just gone.
It's
The
not. You
channel
can't not just access it. You
ceased
can't
to
even find
exist.
it. It's just gone.
It's unsearchable. It does not exist.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never even heard of anything like that happening. Yeah, I didn't know about that.
I had to start completely over, and like I'm just not good at YouTube, and like my content like all gets like bleeped out, and it all gets like screwed over in the end. But we've been trying really hard to try to make it more YouTube friendly, and it's been popping off a little bit more lately. I would say like an average video gets like 50K views, and I'm at like 60k subs, which is okay.
Yeah.
But I have a long way to go to where I want it to be.
And you're kind of trying to make it more family friendly, basically, just
No.
like
I'm just trying to ride as many lines as I can without crossing them.
got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's the way to go.
That's how I mean I have rode every line on Twitch for this long, you know, like I just need to find out where the line is on YouTube. Like I am a line rider all the way
Just
through.
grind
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
Just grind it. Yeah.
Other than like role playing, what's your favorite thing to do on Twitch?
Other than role playing, I enjoy hosting like game shows and stuff. So
Mhm.
recently we've been doing like Whose Line Is It Anyway nights and game show nights.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
And I guess Whose Line Is It Anyway is kind of role play since it's improv.
Yeah.
But game show nights are really fun. I do enjoy playing games, although like I don't think Twitch is about playing games anymore unless you're like one of the best, unless you're like Shroud, right?
Or like a pro. Yeah.
Yeah. Like people will watch someone who's insanely good at games, but I don't have like 8 hours a day to invest into one game to like become that good. Like the most recent game I was good at was Crunker, and I was a god tiered Crunker player, but it's a game for kids that no one cares about.
What is Crunker?
It's an FPS game where you could like bunny hop around and like shoot people, and
Okay.
like it literally looks like Minecraft. and it's a browser game. It's a
Yeah.
literal browser game. And I played the game my first day, and there was this dude that came into my stream and shit talked me. He was like, "You're garbage," and all this stuff. And I was like, "I'm gonna play this game till I could beat this guy." And I did for like a month straight. I played this game every day. He was ranked 6th in the world, and I beat this guy after I beat this guy in a 1v1 after playing this game for like 2 months straight. And after that, I was like, "There's no point in me playing this game anymore."
Wait. So some guy, random guy, I didn't know.
He's
at
a
all.
stream sniper.
Stream sniper.
Yeah.
Did you know he was a stream sniper when he came in?
Yeah, everyone. knows
Okay.
a stream sniper.
Okay. As long as you knew him, I thought it was just some random guy, like
No,
out of nowhere.
He was like an infamous stream sniper in
Got
that game.
it.
Like he was ranked 6th in the game. He was really good, and he would go to everyone's stream and just beat the shit out of them and just move on. And I was like, I'm gonna play till I can beat this guy. And I beat him, but I barely beat him. But I beat him.
Hey, you beat him.
And I was like, that's it. Like I don't need to play this game anymore. Like I'm done.
That is hilarious and awesome. That shows your drive in a way. I mean, it's almost like obsessive, but it's hilarious.
That is, I would say that is me. Like I get very obsessive over things.
Yeah.
And then like I just focus on that thing, and until I achieve that thing, I will lose my mind. Like I will sit there and grind it until I get that one thing, and then I can move on to whatever's next.
Right.
Everything else does not matter while I'm focused on that one goal. Like nothing else matters.
Yeah, that's
All right.
That's crazy.
I say we take another shot,
Okay.
we'll have a little break, and then we'll
Okay.
come back. We'll talk about VR chat,
Yeah.
roleplay, GTA, all that stuff.
Yo, welcome back, y'all. I can't see shit other than what's going on in VR chat. Can the chat see what's going on? No? Okay.
This is new for me, so
Hello? Okay. You know what? Nah.
yeah.
Nah.
Let's continue IRL.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So
Cheers, though.
oh yeah, cheers. Yeah, I don't. How the hell would we take? Dude, imagine us trying to take that shot with the headsets on. We don't have to reach all the way
Cheers.
across the
Cheers.
table. Cheers.
Get Rob chugging a whole drink.
Oh, damn, he's going hard. All right. So I wanted to ask a question. It's actually a viewer.
A viewer question?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
They just wanted to know how you feel about Mickey Mouse.
Tano? Oh my god, dude. So
Okay, so you knew exactly who it was. I had no idea. I know him. I had no idea why he asked that.
So-
Tanner Tano?
Yeah.
So early on, he was a big part of the lobby, and I would make fun of him a lot. And I would mess with him. He was kind of like a good person to mess with, and my chat hated the fact that he always did this fucking Mickey Mouse bit, and he would always come in with a voice, and they were just like done with it. Like, so this big meme started that was just like Kicky Mickey, like please kick this guy out of the lobby, Kicky Mickey, like please Kicky Mickey. And I was nice to him, but so he would have this like sub alert that would come on, and it was like, sorry, I got a burp. It was like whenever he got like it was a follower alert. Whenever he got a follower, he would do this song.
really?
It was like 1 to the 2 to the 3. Like he would do like the Snoop Dogg remix, right?
What?
And my chat, I was like, dude. So I gave him a rate of like, this was like the start of VRChat, so it was probably like 700 viewers or something like that.
Yeah.
And he was getting a lot of followers. And every 2 seconds for like an hour straight, he was like 1 to the 2 to the 3.
No.
And I'm like, dude, dog, I just gave you a 700 viewer rate. Like you average like 30 viewers, and this is how you squander it away. I was so pissed at him. I was like, and that 700 became like 300 after 2 seconds, 200, and then just back to normal viewership.
Tanner, what are you
Dude,
doing there?
I know Tanner, and he asked me, and he told me to ask that question as, like as a viewer question. I did not know that this is what it was about. I actually thought that it was going to be like some meme in your chat. I didn't know. But this is so much worse and hilarious.
Dude, so I liked him, but my chat hated him. Like my chat was always like Kicky Mickey, like get rid of this guy. And it became a big meme. And there was some people that were like, I like Tano, like he's all right. And then there were like the few people that would like stick up for him. And it just like became a big meme. And I would always call him out and be like, dog, I fucking rated you, and you sat there singing this follow song for an hour straight. Like I'm never rating you again. I'm not giving you any more support. Like it was bad.
Wow. Yeah, he's in chat. So
yeah.
That is
I saw him here,
hilarious.
and he came up to me like, you guys had a party here, and he came up to me. He's like, "I'm Tano, remember me?" And I'm like, "Oh my god."
Did he sing the Mickey Mouse song?
No, he didn't.
Dude, oh, you missed opportunity.
Tanner, next
right
time we
there.
see you, you're doing that for us.
Yeah, I need to hear it.
He knows what I'm talking about because it was this follower alert, and he would do this like Snoop Dogg remix, but with the Mickey Mouse voice, and he would do it for every follower, and he got like 50 followers at that moment that were just like all queued. It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare.
That sounds
So
horrible.
along those same lines, I saw you were doing roleplay tryouts maybe like a week ago.
So we have a new show. It's called RP Tryouts. I'm doing my second season now. The first season was a huge success. It's basically a reality show. And how it works is we bring in about 30 people, and they do a whole bunch of different events. And every week we eliminate anywhere between like 4 to 6 people. And we've gotten a whole bunch of new people in the lobby because of it. And it was a huge success because I've had people message me. There's this VTuber called Camila, and she messaged me and she's like, I need you to stop having your viewers come into my chat and talk about how excited they were about the RP tryouts event, because they all sit there and they're all like, did you see who got eliminated this week? And all this stuff. And it's really fun because I make all the eliminations like very intense. Usually it's like we have a judge panel, and the judges will eliminate one person, chat will eliminate one person, and then the cast will eliminate one person. So you have like that survivor aspect of it. Like there's a whole bunch of it. And if you win an event, you get safe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we've had guest stars come in. So there was this one time where we had an elimination dating, which how it works is each person one by one comes by and has a date with someone. The first day was Lakari. He was our first guest.
Oh, I love Lakari.
Lakari was super easy to work with. Look, there was a mute that came up to Lakari and like acted all cute, and Lakari was like, she needs to win. This one needs to win. I'm giving her the W. And she won the whole event because of that. Like, she was the first one to win everything because of that. She's part of the lobby now. She's doing great. She's a wonderful dancer. Her name's Lapu.
Shout out Lapu.
Yeah. So the second day was stripping. And stripping was a lot more intense. People were super intimidated to show up against stripping. And we had a bunch of people.
Is stripping the name or what they were doing?
Stripping is a streamer who's like one of my best friends. That guy is so cool. And he's a very handsome, like big man, like got his shit together, has a daughter and wife and everything.
Wait, this is like IRL.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
He's a streamer. He's a very successful streamer. One of my best friends. And he is very intimidating. And his model is like a big fucking Viking guy in VRChat. And you're on a date with this guy who literally decides whether or not you get eliminated or not, right? Whether or not you get in the lobby or not. Because getting in the lobby means that, you know, you could potentially have a streaming career in VRChat and all this stuff. Like, there's a lot that could come from it, right?
Yeah.
So people were shitting their pants with stripping. Like with Lucari, it was like super chill vibes. Like everyone was having a good time. Stripping came in, everyone, like, there's this one guy named Sevi, and Sevi's the bad guy of the show. Like every single week he shit talks everyone. He's a complete asshole. He is literally the antagonist of the entire RP tryouts. He didn't make it in, but he's coming back into season 2. And everyone hates this guy. Everyone's like, you need to get rid of Sevi, dude. He talks shit about everyone. He talks about how like he fucks bitches and all this stuff.
Oh yeah,
and,
great.
He has like this e-boy avatar and he dances and like does like hip hop dancing. He does his best, right? And he'll make like rap songs, and it's so funny because he like kind of has like a nasally voice as he's doing these rap songs. And one of the people that got in rap battled him and destroyed him in a rap battle. And
I was about to say, dude, I would love to join that in rap battle. That would be fun.
So there's this guy named Jacob who came in and just obliterated him in a rap battle. Like it was disgusting. And he ended up getting into the lobby. Yeah. And that was like his turning point, right? Like that was like the point where everyone's like, okay, Jacob's kind of cool. Like we like this guy. And with Sevi, every week he just shit talks everyone and talks about how much better he is than everyone. He's literally the bad guy. Yeah. And he comes up to stripping and he's just like, yeah, I'm really excited to be here. And he's like all of a sudden like this super shy guy, like, you know, and stripping's like, dude, it was the slowest episode we've ever had because everything was super hype up to this episode with stripping. Every single person who goes up to stripping is like, and I don't know what happened. I think the first person like really fucked up and everyone else just got scared, right? Like everyone else got scared. And there was one person named Unholy Chalupa who like came in and he had this Viking model. It's Olaf from League of Legends. I don't know if you guys know who Olaf from League of Legends is, but he has this Broloff skin where he's like, yo, and he's got like brewskis and stuff like that. And he came in and he played the character perfectly. He's like, yeah, let's get some brewskis, bro. We'll get some bitches. And Strippin was like vibing with him so hard. Like Strippin was like, this guy's so cool. And he was the one guy who like was able to like maintain his composure with Strippin, and he made it into the lobby because of that.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, this actually made me want to bring. I wanted to bring this up earlier, but I'm usually a very like social person. I don't feel awkward, and this is more of a question. But when I first started VRChat, you remember when I started, right?
Vaguely, because a lot of people came at the same time as you. Like you came in that big storm.
Yeah. So I am never nervous to meet people, but for some reason in VRChat, I'm more nervous than I am in real life than meeting someone in real life. Is that something that's normal for like why?
So I have a lot of people tell me I'm super intimidating in VRChat.
I was intimidated to meet you in VRChat. And I'm not intimidated to meet anyone usually. Not even in person. But for you in VRChat, I was very intimidated to meet you. I just maybe felt like I didn't know how to interact on VRChat, right?
It's tough because when you're on VRChat and you're in our lobby, like everything's on camera. Yeah. And you're like, if I say something stupid, like they're going to think I'm weird and all this stuff. And like the whole like atmosphere is weird as it is because it's different. Like there's like a bunch of like anime girls walking around. There's like a whole bunch of like, it's not like a normal party. Right. And everyone is just so unique there. And our lobby, we definitely aim to bring in unique people and people that are like different. So it definitely can be a little bit intimidating at first. Yeah. But we definitely have been told that we have a very welcoming community after like people
yeah.
like kind of like settle down and like get to know everyone. But the first initial reaction is like you don't know what to expect. You come in and you're just like, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, are these people gonna think I'm weird? Like, am I too normie for this shit?
Right. Exactly.
The best thing to do is to just come in and just go ham. Just like not give a shit. Like just go in and be like, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw you mention during the tryouts, someone did like an IRL video of themselves.
So
he was gonna like eat fire, and you said something like, "Hey, chat, you know, sometimes some of the people that are like cringiest IRL are like the best VR chat people."
that guy did not make it in. I wanted him to make it in. The number one person this season was this mute that did a girlfriend experience video. And what they did was they did this video where it's like, oh, you know, it's so good to see you again. And it's like a first person like girlfriend experience video. And she comes in with like a bottle of wine. This is like the bottle of wine from our first date. Do you remember that
my
date?
God.
And this was the song that played. And then like during the video, like she like takes you to bed and she's like, oh, I see you're having some trouble there. You know, like it's okay. Just follow my lead. You know, I'll take care of everything. And then it like cuts to the scene of you like taking off your VR headset and you're just like laying in this bed and it's all fake. Like it's not real. And people were obsessed with it. Like people were like, her name is Pixel Pink, and everyone's like, dude, when's Pixel Pink coming into the lobby? Like, where's Pixel Pink? And like, dude, people have watched that video like 20 times.
Just
like,
hearing about it, I want to watch it.
Dude, Pixel Pink, man, like it's become a big meme in the lobby. Everyone's like, when is Pixel Pink showing up? Like when are we finally letting Pixel Pink into the lobby? And it's all because like they did this like girlfriend experience video that just made everyone like, oh, this feels nice. Like this is really cozy. Like this is really nice. And I think that's like a big part of VRChat. And there's a lot of people that do their streams completely around that kind of content. Like people get lonely and they want that like girlfriend experience. And there are people that will legit sit there and just give you like ASMR, like face touches and all this stuff. And they make their whole stream revolved around like just making you feel comfortable and stuff. It's pretty interesting.
Right. And then also on this topic, another thing I wanted to bring up. Do you remember when my dad came in VRChat?
Your dad came into VRChat a lot of times. The first day he came in, he thought Crumpet was a girl.
Yes.
And he like fell in love with Crumpet, dude.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I wanted to say is my dad was a natural to me.
Your dad was amazing in VRChat.
Amazing. So good at it.
That
and he wasn't trying. He's just I think the reason he was good at it is he didn't care. He just was like, fuck it.
And he's very charismatic.
Yeah.
Like and that helps a lot too. I think the best thing to do is just to come in and have a good time. And like, that's what he did. Like he came in, he was like, oh, you're such a beautiful woman. Like, oh, you know, I'm so excited to meet you. And we just went along with it. And then Crumpet like went along with it. And I remember like we were exploring like a horror map.
Wait, before we go on, you want me to explain or I want the chat to understand kind of.
Go ahead.
Okay, so my dad came into VRChat with me, and he was just kind of getting introduced, and he thought Murder Crumpet. If you aren't familiar with Murder Crumpet, he's
a very feminine dude.
He is a very feminine dude. Let's just say that. And basically, my dad came up and was flirting with Murder Crumpet the whole time, thinking that he was a she, and it basically turned into this whole story, and that's kind of where we're at. I just want to make sure you guys understand what we're talking about. And my dad was hilarious in VRChat. All right, sorry, go ahead.
So what ended up happening was we set up this whole date between Murder Crumpet and your dad. It went amazing. It actually popped off on YouTube, Twitch, everywhere.
Funny.
Like it was an iconic VRChat moment. Like it was really, really good because Crumpet's super like funny, witty, and your dad's super charismatic. Like it was just the perfect duo. And we went to a horror map, and Crumpet revealed like to your dad, he was like, I just want you to know I have a penis. And your dad was like, okay, that's cool. Like, you could just tell his whole life had just changed in that moment, dude. It was, dude, that was one of the, like, that is one of my most memorable moments. I can tell you exactly where it happened. We were in the scare zone in the shark area. I could tell you the exact area that freaking happened. That map doesn't even exist anymore, but I could show you the exact location that happened. Like, it was an iconic moment. It was really fun.
I've talked to my dad about this off stream, and he said, you know, might be a dude, but he does sound cute.
and that's funny. The thing. people make this joke that like VR chat makes you gay. I don't think VR chat makes you gay. I think VR chat helps you learn like how much like you are willing to like go down that route, you know? And I think it
Yeah.
like brings out, and I don't think there's like, I think that's pretty cool. The fact that like people go into, so I have this thing that's called like the 5 stages of VR chat. Okay. And this is something I made up a long time ago. And I truly believe to this day it's real. It's like day 1 in VR chat, you have like a meme avatar. It's your first day playing and like you're just having fun. Day 2 VR chat, you kind of start like seeing like the custom models. You start hanging out with your homies and start flirting a little bit. You know, they might be using some hot anime girl avatars. Day 3 VR chat, you know, you're kind of starting to use female avatars with your homies. You guys might be flirting a little bit with each other, but you know, you keep it to a minimum and they have to be mute and stuff like that. Stage 4, you start muting your mics and you know ERPing, and you're like, okay, as long as they don't use their voice, it's okay. You know, it's just a mute. It's just a mute. It's just a mute. And then at stage 5, like you just don't care anymore, dude. They can unmute. They can use male avatars. Like you've come to this acceptance.
You've ascended.
Yeah, you have accepted what it really is, and I like that because like in VR chat you could truly be whatever you want. Like you can interact with whoever you want. You could be whatever you want, and you quickly start to learn a lot about yourself. I have learned personally that I will never like cock, and I have to accept this, you know, because I have tried. I have told myself like if I can be bi, I would be so happy because like there would be no limitations to what I could like, you know, like I could like everything.
Yeah. Just
Can't
won't
have-
work. Yeah.
I've tried so hard, dude. I have tried so hard.
Do you remember what avatar? This is swinging back a little, but what avatar my dad was wearing the first time he came in? I know that he ended up using that one girl avatar.
It was like a southern avatar. Like it might have been like a McCree or something. I don't know. It was
I
definitely like a
I just don't
southern.
remember.
It was like a cowboy avatar.
Yeah,
I
okay.
will mention that your dad came to like one of our very first DJ nights. Okay. And this was like an event with like a bunch of like people like lap dancing,
Yep.
like stripper
I
dancing
was
and
with
stuff
him
like that.
most of these times.
And he came in with like a guitar and just started like singing and playing guitar.
That was when he was at my brother's.
Yeah, he like formed a crowd, dude. There was like a crowd of people surrounding your dad, just like, wow, he's really talented. And he was just sitting there, like trying to like impress like a bunch of ladies with like his guitar and stuff. And it was working, dude. He was like very charming, like he was owning. Because I remember in the backstage, there was a bunch of people like throwing ass and they were having fun. And usually people are like, yo, this is the content.
Yeah.
Your dad had all the people come to him instead.
And they were all throwing ass at my
Yeah.
dad. That's hilarious.
Like I check up on the group of people that's like throwing hands. There's like 3 people there, and I look and there's like 30 people like surrounding your dad who's just like playing guitar and
Yeah.
like singing and stuff.
Oh, this
that's-
is something you might want to know. My dad is actually already has built in Louisiana an entire VR room.
yeah.
Wait, really?
Yes.
He liked VR chat that much that he has an entire VR room. I actually streamed it, like IRL, and he has this whole room that he set up just to put a VR setup in there.
Is this like a recent thing or like?
He's been working on it. I mean, it's not like top priority, but it is a thing, and he is going to do it, and he will want to be in VR chat more.
Dude, let's bring him back in. I think
Oh,
we
yeah.
can have so much fun content.
Yeah,
with him.
next time I go down there, I'll try and get him to actually set it up. Chance bought him the whole Vive, I think it was Vive. Was it? I don't know. He bought him one of the setups,
Mhm.
and he has an entire room dedicated for it.
Yeah. A lot of people seem to have like VR rooms. I recently moved all my stuff into my closet. My streaming setup is in a closet now because I wanted to have like my main room like for VR. So
I feel like a lot of people actually stream in their closets. I don't know. It's just like maybe the tight space that makes you feel comfortable.
I grew up in a really small room.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just used to it. I actually
It's not
prefer
just
being
you,
in a
though.
tight space. The only thing is I don't have air conditioning in that room, so I have this fan that I have to constantly put on me, and everyone's like, "What is that sound?
Yeah.
Like sound is so annoying." I'm like, dude, it's just like a simple fan, like one of those like bladeless fans, but just like the whole time.
Right.
I don't know what the solution is. I'm gonna come up with some kind of cooling solution there, but I'm hoping to like figure that out soon because I prefer being in like a really small space.
You were gonna ask something, weren't you, Razor?
Yeah. I was just curious. You know, you've had a lot of streamers come in, a lot of content creators come in. They try VR chat. Who's like your favorite, or some of your favorites that have come in? Like we were watching like clips of Hassan playing like beer pong with Poke and stuff. But
What do you mean by favorite?
Just curious,
My
like
favorite guest.
like the first time they were on, you know, like their first experience in VRChat.
Hamlinz.
Yeah.
Hamlinz was the best. Like, because Hamlinz is a natural degenerate. And I would go, so Daequan and Hamlinz are like these big Fortnite streamers. A lot of people know who they are. And they came into VRChat one day because Vigors brought them in. And we immediately hit it off. And I remember the first place I ever took them was like this virtual strip club. And it was like a very like well-run strip club. Like there was like an owner of this place. There's like there's virtual security in this place to make sure that like the right people are coming in and that you're on the VIP list and stuff. And we got brought into the room, and the regulars there are like these creepy dudes that just sit there and like. And I remember like Hamlinz, Daequan, and Deller, who's another streamer, had our own little corner. And Hamlinz and Daequan are just like screaming at all our strippers, like, "Dang, yo!" And they're just having the best time ever, right? Yeah. So all of like these virtual strippers are like coming to our little area because they're like, man, like I want to see what's going on there. Like these guys are really hype. And we're all just like sitting there having a good time. Like they're sitting there like screaming, like having the time of their lives. And like every time like these girls like do something crazy, like they're just like, yo, like, damn, that's crazy. Yo, baby girl, like come with me. And like, so what ends up happening is all these, like we're in this room that's like this big rectangular room that's all like chairs with like 3 stripper poles. Everyone comes to our area because they're just like, yeah, these guys are losers. Like, we're gonna like leave these guys behind. So we have like all the girls in like our little area in the corner with like Hamlinz and Daequan just screaming their fucking like lungs out, just like going crazy. And they're just like, the girls are just laughing their asses off. And they're like, yeah, we're just gonna dance for these guys. And all the guys in the background like, yo, you guys coming back here?
The cool corner of VRChat. That is awesome.
That's
me.
funny.
That is great.
I used to teach in the Bronx. And my students used to watch Daequan.
Dude, I went to the mall with Daequan once, right? And I did not know what popularity meant until that day. Like, it was TwitchCon like 3 or 4 years ago, and Daequan was Daequan and Hamlinz invited me to their Airbnb, which was like this like ridiculous Airbnb. It wasn't just one house; it was like 5 houses combined into one. Like one room was like dedicated to just playing like freaking table tennis, like what? Like everyone had their own house basically. Like that's how crazy this shit was. Like it was some like Gucci shit, dude. Like this is like some expensive stuff. And they invited me over there, and it was a really good time. And they were like, yo, let's go to the mall. I'm gonna drip everyone out. And I was like, all right, like I'm not gonna say no to that. So we go to the mall, and Daequan's like buying for everyone. We got stopped every 3 seconds. Like everyone's like, dude, that's Daequan. I need to take a picture with him. And this like mall trip, I ended up getting nothing because this mall trip just ended up becoming a freaking signature like signing area. Like it just ended up becoming a meet and greet. We were all sitting there just waiting for Daequan to finish taking pictures.
Funny.
Was this in Cali?
It was in California. It was like I don't know, like I feel like we were in like Santa Monica area, wherever Twitch was like 3 or 4 years ago.
San Francisco, probably.
I don't think it was in San Fran that year.
San Jose?
I don't remember, dude.
Doesn't matter. It was in Cali. That's what matters.
I have coon brain, dude. Like my brain does not function properly.
What year? 2018.
He said 3 years.
Wherever, if you could go through my Twitter and see the year that I was with Daequan, like that, whatever year that picture was on Twitter, like that's the year.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The story's still,
And then you mentioned mutes. Not everybody knows what a mute is. We have a lot.
True.
We have a lot of viewers of this podcast that actually don't know anything about Twitch, surprisingly.
Or VRChat.
Or VRChat.
Dude, mutes are a whole nother aspect, dude.
I want to hear your explanation of a mute.
Yeah.
Okay, so a mute. So here's how mutes originated. Okay, a long time ago, I used to use a male avatar, and all of the big VR chatters were all female avatars because they were these big, sexy girls that everyone wanted to watch. And I was like, I don't feel like using a female avatar. Like, I just want to use a male avatar, and I'll find someone else to be the eye candy for me. So I found like a little mascot. Their name was Zager, and I was like, yo, you're my mascot from now on. Like, wherever I go, you're just gonna follow me around, and you're gonna like be really cute and all this stuff. And they were like, yeah, I'm down to do it. And the problem was they were very inactive, like super inactive. And this kind of started like the first mute meta because I was like, yeah, that's my mute. That's Zager, they're my mute. And at that point, we were still kind of like figuring out what mutes are, and we kind of hit some like weird lines with it because there was this.
You came up
So
with
it
the word mute?
Yeah.
I came up with it. I
Okay.
came up with the whole idea.
I didn't know that.
And what ended up happening was there was this mute called Dottie that I thought was really
I remember
fun.
Dottie.
Like they danced and they were really cute. They ended up becoming Wilnef's mute eventually. But what ended up happening, and this is when things started. Like this is when we kind of realized that we need to start like making rules. There was a different person who had Dottie as their mute, and I was like, "Yo, I will trade you my whole CS:GO, like everything I have. I had knife skins. I had like a Fnatic sticker worth like $300. I had everything. If you let me have Dottie as my mute, I will give you everything that I have in my CS:GO because I'm quitting this game." And he was like, "Sure." So I gave this dude like $1,500 worth of CS:GO skins.
Why'd you want Dottie as your mute?
Because at that point Zager was super inactive. Dottie was like had a cute avatar, can dance, was like quirky as hell,
Got it.
and all this stuff. And it ended up like literally that same day it paid for itself because Dottie had baited me over like 200 or 300 subs.
Nice.
Like I was like, holy shit. Like so my whole idea with this was like mutes in VRChat. So there's a lot of reasons why people are mute. Some people are just really antisocial. Some people don't like their voices. Some people just don't like to talk. But there's all sorts of different mutes, and all they want is attention. Like they just want people to pay attention to them. They
Without
want to be
talking.
cute and quirky, and they want to like feel like they belong part of the group. And we found this solution where they could get the attention they want, and we can like hang out with them, and everyone's a winner. And we were like, yo, you could be the mascot of my stream, you know, like you entertain my stream and you hang out with me, you get all the attention you want, you get to do the things that you want, your stream starts to pop off too, and everything works out in the end. And they love it. Like people are like, bro, you're just kind of using these people for content, and you're
They
just like,
probably enjoy it.
dude, they love it.
Yeah.
And I will say I have myself made a mute Smurf. Like I made a mute account because I wanted to see how fast I could get into the lobby as a mute. So this one day, Murder Crumpet was streaming. He was doing a 24-hour stream. I came in with my mute account and I was like acting all cute and stuff like that. I was in full body, and Crumpet comes up to me and is like, "Man, you're really cute. Like, can I add you to friends? My friends would love you." And I'm just like,
Wait, and Crumpet didn't know it was you.
Crumpet had no idea it was
that's
me.
so good.
No
Okay.
idea it was me. So I'm just like, let's see how good I could like do this, right? So I'm just like sitting there and I'm just like acting all cute and stuff, and I'm just like playing along with everything. And Crumpet's like, yeah, I gotta add you to friends, and added me to friends. And I sat there and I just like messed with people in the lobby for like a good couple of weeks before I told everyone like,
Wait, but
hey,
how
by
did
the
you
way,
how
that's
did you
me.
mess
nice.
with them?
Well, I would like sit there and like I'd be like flirtatious with them and see how they'd respond and
Yeah.
stuff and all. Like I would see how many people would add me to friends. Everyone wanted to add me to friends. Everyone wanted to ERP with me. Like everyone wanted to go private with me. Like everyone was
That's
like,
so funny.
dude. I was like I remember I was like, I wonder how long it would take for this person to want to go private with me, and it would take like 30 seconds. I was like, dude, this person's a freaking whore. Like this person really wants to fuck. And I learned a lot about the lobby when I made a mute Smurf, and I learned a lot about myself. And eventually, my girlfriend was like, "Yeah, you're not doing this anymore. This is weird. Like this is fucking weird." Because she found out a lot of stuff, and she was
That's
like,
so funny.
"Yeah, I don't know about this,
Does
man."
she do VR chat?
She plays VRChat very vaguely. She hates VRChat.
Mm.
Like she hears what I do in my room. She sees the things that I do sometimes, and she's like, look, whatever you do in VRChat,
Don't tell me.
just don't tell me about it. Just have fun with it, but do not fucking tell me. Like I do not want to know what you do in that game. And I was like, all right, like I'll just do my own thing, you know? And like sometimes, like, you know, she'll be like, I heard you doing this. Like, can you explain this to me? And I'm like, oh god damn it, dude. Like, so what ended up happening is Dottie was my mute for a while, and that didn't work out. And then eventually there was Keo who came in, and Keo and me, like, we got along super well.
Yeah.
And Keo ended up becoming my mascot for like the longest time. And they popped off really hard because they were an insane dancer, like absolutely insane dancer. Like they could do like flips and like handstands and break dancing, and they were like the dance gladiator. Like we would go to dance battling competitions and they would win. Like they would just
Yeah.
shit on everyone. So and they brought in a lot of opportunity because what would happen is there's this big Twitch streamer named Zilverk who has millions of followers, and he popped off super hard, and he brought in like Rubius and like a lot of the biggest Spanish streamers into VRChat. And I was like,
nice.
Keo, hop on that stage and show them what you could do. And Keo fucking hopped on that stage, started dancing like all out, like doing flips and shit. And Rubius was like, yo, like what the hell? People can do this in VRChat? Like this is insane. And that day, Keo got 6,000 followers, which is more than I've ever gotten in any day of streaming. Like literally, I had a day where I got hosted by XQC, and even that day I did not get as much followers as Keo got on that day, dude. Like that was insane.
Well, another thing that I've noticed about mutes, not just for themselves, but for the streamer that has them as their mute, it's like almost like a sign of power that you have a mute. At least I noticed that. It seems like it's like if you're a streamer that has a mute, you're relevant enough to, I guess, have one. You know?
Yeah, and I think that it's weird, but you're right. Like that definitely is a aspect, especially in VRChat. I have been muteless for a little while.
Oh no, I didn't know this.
Well, Keo unmuted, right? And afterwards, I was like, Keo, I promise you, like, I won't have a mute anytime soon, because they were like super uncomfortable with the idea of like we're best friends, like we're really good friends, and like we've hung out like 24/7. Like I've basically promoted the hell out of their channel, and like I really wanted them to succeed, because when I first met them, they didn't really have like a lot of friends, and like I would like look at their Twitch channel, and it was like alone on New Year's, alone on Christmas, alone on my birthday, and I was like, man, like I feel bad because this person's so talented, and like I really want them to pop off, and I really want them to like do well. So like I started like streaming on their channel to make sure they get like all the hours they need. I started like hosting them every single day. I was in every single one of their streams. I'm pretty much like since we've like became friends. And I really wanted to like promote them, and eventually they got partnered. Like they have like 3,000 subs now. They're doing really well. Like they get a lot of viewers, and I wanted to get them to a point, because they work a really shitty job that I can't talk about because they like to keep their life secret.
Yeah, of course.
They're miserable. Like they're miserable where they're at. Like their job is like literally one of those like on the list of like top 10 suicide jobs and all.
I will say, if you have 3,000 subs and you can maintain that, you don't need that job anymore. I wouldn't think.
They're not really in a situation to leave. Like, let's just say that.
Oh,
so,
got it.
So they have to work this shitty job and then come home, and then their stream is like their only escape, right?
Yeah,
so,
that sucks.
Yeah. So I talk to them all the time about it, and like I try to like help them like get there, and I almost feel at this point like I'm invested in this person, you know? Like I have grown this stream to this point. I've helped them get to this point, and we're really good friends. And one of the things when they unmuted, they were like, well, I'm kind of worried because you're gonna like find a new mute, and like I've been your mute and I've been like your mascot this whole time, like you're gonna replace me. I'm like, well, you know, like we're still gonna like have our thing together, you know, you're still gonna be like my best friend and stuff like that. And I told myself, I was like, I'm never gonna have a mute again. Like it's fine. But then what ended up happening was there was like a whole bunch of people, dude. Mutes are like vultures, dude. Once you don't have a mute, like they all strike, dude. They all come at you, and they start acting super cute, because like let's face it, like when you're my mute, like it's going to pop off your stream, and it's gonna do well and stuff like that. And there was a whole bunch of people that were like trying to get really close to me, but I couldn't really vibe with anyone. And then I was making this video on how to pick up chicks in VRChat. And I found this random mute that was just like quirky as hell. Like they had a huge play space. They were really fun and all this stuff. And their name was Mori, Mementos Mori. And I was like, dude, this person is sick. I've never met this person in my life. And I was like, this person is really sick. And me and my friends were making this video. And what happened was, in this video, like the whole point is to try to get this person to go in private rooms with you. And I'm like trying to teach people like how to get someone to ERP with you. And of course I'm not gonna fucking ERP with this person. So like my whole thing was,
I'm curious, why not?
Well, for one, like it's a YouTube video for one, and for two, like, you know, like I've got a girlfriend, you know, like I gotta like you know, I gotta there's lines I gotta be.
So
careful
you were trying
with.
to ERP, but not ERP.
So
he's like a dating coach.
I'm teaching you how to ERP in this video
without ERP,
but without ERPing, right?
Yeah.
So I dropped a portal to go into a private. They went into the private portal. I didn't go in. I was like, all right, but
What?
here's the part.
Dude.
They were really hot. So I was like, dude, like this mute's really hot. Like, I hope you guys understand, like I could have had this, right? Like I could have had that, dude. And like I was like, all right. So I back out and I had to change my name, right? Like I had to like hop on a different account because we had to continue the video. We had to continue that video. So I hopped on a different account and I joined the same instance because there's this instance called H Party. Yeah. And it's where all the lonely people go to get laid in VRChat. Like there's a room where you literally cannot talk. Get laid. So but they were like sick as fuck. Like they did not belong in this area because they were like way better than everyone else. So my friend Sora was there and we were making this video and I was like, Sora, add this mute, bro, because they're pretty fucking cool, right? So we ended up bringing them into the lobby and everyone immediately loved them. Like there's this whole meme that's like, Mori is so cute, and they do like this little emote with like the Pepe like all like happy and stuff, and like people started liking them very much. And then like we started going on this quest, and like there was this other mute called Jufa, who was my friend's mute, Sora, the same person, and we started hitting it off super well. So people call me like the mute stealer because all of the mutes I've had in the past were like paired with someone else.
That's funny.
And Sora's mute was Jufa. So me and Jufa hit it off super well. Like we became super good friends, right? Like super good friends. And Jufa is a content machine. Like their whole like character is like this schizophrenic like mute that like is from a different dimension and sees like things coming out of the walls and stuff like that. But the thing is, whenever we do role play together, they make it out that I'm the crazy one. So all this like we'll do these scenes where like we go to like a store, but all of a sudden the store is like this endless store that has infinite aisles and all these like weird things start coming out of nowhere, and they'll convince me that I'm not in a store but I'm at like a fucking Denny's or something. and they'll be like, you know, Mr. Robert Gator, like have you been taking your meds lately? Like I think you might be crazy.
You sound like you're in denial to me. I actually feel like they're probably right.
So yeah, that's the meme, right?
Yeah.
So whenever I hang out with Mori and Jufa, these two mutes, they convince me that I'm fucking crazy wherever we go, and that they're the normal ones with all this like crazy shit going on. And chat's been really liking it. Like it's kind of like become like a big staple in my YouTube content lately.
Yeah.
But now everyone's like, when are you gonna make Jufa and Mori mutes, bro? Like you know, you've been getting along. Yeah,
you could.
And I'm like, but I've promised Keo I wouldn't.
Well, here's the thing though, is you obviously help Keo, but you said unmuted, right?
Yeah.
So they're talking now.
Yeah, and that's what I've been trying to tell Keo. I'm like, Keo, like, you know, you're my best friend. Like, you're still a big part of stream. Like, you're still like a big part of everything.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, but you know, they still like feel intimidated by the whole thing. But so what ended up happening was like a lot of people are just like, just admit it. They're your mutes. Like they're unofficially like your mutes. Like everywhere you go. And it's just so crazy because this whole mute thing, like it excelled VRChat. Like there are people outside of VRChat who had mutes. Like your brother, for example, had a mute.
Yeah.
Happy thoughts.
Yeah, she was really cool.
You did these like contests, right? Where they like chose their mutes, like choosing your spirit animal, right?
Moon had Quinoa, who was his mute. And then I remember Shroud wanted a mute. Shroud wanted a mute. Not only that, Shroud and me, like, we used to RP a lot in Rust. And Shroud told me straight up, he's like, you're my favorite Rust RP. Like, we watch you RP every single day. Like, your stream is so funny. And it actually brought a lot of publicity to me. Like, it was like one of those things that built up to GTA RP and all that. And I remember B-Nance, who's like Shroud's girlfriend, like came up to me at TwitchCon and was like, yo, me and Shroud, we watch your stream all the time. Like, we think you're so funny, and I really appreciate it. So what ended up happening was one day Shroud was like, I think I want to mute. And his friends were all like, bro, are you okay? Like, what is wrong with you? And everyone like all his friends talked him out of it. They were all like, dude, no, you're not going to have a mute. Like, that's just fucking weird. Like, all this stuff.
I think I watched the Moon one because I just remember him being really drunk. Was that...
I think he was drunk, and what ended up happening is a bunch of mutes wanted to impress him, and Quinoa was the winner at the end. And Quinoa is an adorable mute. He actually made a really good choice. Like, Quinoa was really fun. But the thing is, like, people really give it like a bad flack. I mean, there's so many things that have mascots, and even in a like if you watch like a cartoon or like any kind of TV show, there's always like that like cute character that's like the like when things are like really intense, like you have that one like cute character that kind of like
Gurr from Invader Zim type
yeah,
thing.
like, exactly. And mutes like do that really well. And dude, it's not like I sit there and I message Jufa. I'm like, yo, you better be on tonight, or else like they play VR chat because they really enjoy VR chat
Of
and they
course.
enjoy doing what they're doing. We don't force anyone to do anything. Like
Yeah.
every single person that has like a mute and who like does this stuff, like their mutes enjoy doing that, and they like Murder Crumpet has Mango, who's like an insane mute in Airy, and they are there for Crumpet streams, and they want to support Crumpet. Like they're there because they want to be there. And
Crumpet's got good content.
the way I always put it, Crumpet does have really good content. The way I always put it is, it's like, it's a mascot. But the Bulls have Benny the Bull, who like comes in and becomes like the face for that thing, and like becomes like, when you think of the Bulls, you don't think of Benny the Bull, but Benny the Bull is there, and he comes in and he's funny and cool, and like
Yeah.
creates like that little like humor. That's the same thing in our thing. Like I can't be a hot anime girl. I mean, look at me. But
I
Jufa-
disagree. I've seen some avatars, bro.
I mean, I have a hot anime girl avatar, but at the end of the day, like I'll always be a 6'6" hairy man. But Jufa can
Okay.
come in, Mori can come in, they can sub bait, they could coon bait, like they could be really cute, and they enjoy doing it. And
Yeah.
I have so much fun. And the thing is, like, a lot of them, like I end up becoming really close to, because like we hang out off stream and we become good friends. And a lot of people just end up becoming best friends with their mute, like because you spend so much time together, like it's just like a natural thing, right? And that's kind of like when it's the best, because you have like a best friend that you're doing everything with. So
Right.
it works out pretty well.
So this is something that's a little off topic, but not too off topic. Were you playing? This was in our first podcast. Were you the manager at Burger Shot? This is completely not VR chat,
Mhm.
but GTA RP. Were you the manager when I blew it up? Were you on duty?
Did you blow it up?
Yeah.
Not when you blew it up. I was the manager for a while.
Yeah.
I tried to sabotage it.
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
didn't know that either.
So I had this big arc where I wanted to get human meat into the
No, I
Remember
remember
this?
this. I
Yeah.
remember this too.
and it ended up working out at the end, but I think it was just such a big story that it just ended up not going anywhere.
The human meat became a rumor, but it wasn't a rumor.
Well, it wasn't a rumor.
Right.
I was really putting human meat in the burger stuff, and I set up this big sting operation, and it was like kind of my season finale, because GTA RP was huge for me. I was averaging like 12K viewers at a
Yeah.
certain point.
yeah.
It was massive for me. People liked me there. Whenever I had a stream, like RP, the RP GTA clips Reddit was just like, it was like me, Penta, and like a few other people.
Yeah, I remember.
And I was successful. I hated it. I hated
Wait, why?
because it felt like a second job.
Mhm.
And the thing is,
okay.
a lot of my favorite RPers stopped playing. And what ended up happening is we had like kind of like all the filler RPers that would come up to me and be like, "So Rob, what are we doing next?" And I had to like sit there and come up with everyone's job for them, because that's kind of like what it became, right?
Yeah.
And eventually the only fun I had was like I got Crumpet in there,
Yeah.
and I got like Keo in there, and we I got some of my closer friends in there, and that was the only fun I had. But at that point, I was gone for so long. When you're gone out of GTA for so long and you come back, no one knows who you are, no one cares who you
Yeah.
are, and it's just such a grind.
We know that because of the winter storm.
Yeah, no, that fucked my entire everything up. Like the day before, I'd blown up Burger Shot. I had an entire like story arc built with my brother where I was the bad guy and he whatever. I had stories with Buddha where I was gonna help Buddha get revenge on my brother. I had all these arcs built up, right? And then 3 days later, after the winter storm hit, it was like 3 days and everyone had already moved on. But that doesn't matter. I actually wanted to bring up, didn't you mention something about Burger Shot with you?
Oh yeah, Rob fired me.
Yes.
Yeah, really?
You
Yes.
fired me. I didn't have priority at the time. I have priority now. But at the time I didn't have priority. I just started I was working at Burger Shot. I was at Burger Shot buying weed from Poke's character, and nobody was there to work, and Dean was like, "We need someone to work right now. Hey you." And that's how I got the job. And then you did like the off hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was one day I literally DM'd you on Twitter and was like, you're probably not going to see this, but please don't fire me. I don't have priority. I can never get on. And like, then I saw like on stream, you're like going through all the workers and like how active they were or something. And I see you fire me. I'm like, oh no, but whatever.
Dude, I fired. So
I just
many
had to
people.
bring that up.
I am a ruthless businessman in that game. Okay, like I fired a lot of people.
I was I was trying to become the accountant.
Mhm.
So I was making like Google Slides of like how Burger Shot can make money and like dropping the, you know how you could like drop like a note or whatever with
Mhm.
just the link, and I was like putting that everywhere, like made surveys and stuff. I had a lot of fun in GTA RP, but unfortunately you played like the other hours because like you could ask my girlfriend this, she was so annoyed by it. I would wake up at like 2 a.m. and try to get in the queue and sleep next to my computer because of the queue would be like 6-7 hours long.
Yeah.
And just like and I had an alarm set every 2 hours to see if I got in. And then
that's
lay back
disgusting,
down.
dude.
But now I have prio, so it's not a big deal anymore. But
So I got really lucky and unlucky. So what happened was years before GTA RP came in, I had a really bad experience because I
Bad
GTA
experience on
RP'd.
what?
So what happened was me and Vader had like an RP scenario that ended up becoming kind of like controversial.
Mhm.
What happened was a long time ago.
was this 2.0?
This was like long ago, like before maybe, I don't know, I don't remember the versions, but it was a long time ago. I had this big drama because I got banned for something that like I felt like wasn't fail RP. Basically what happened was and it was a very controversial thing because I had these two guys that came up to me and like RP checked me, and they were like, yo dude, like we're gonna beat the shit out of you and all this stuff. And I ran into my house and I grabbed a gun, and then I came out and I blasted them. And they were like, and they reported me, and they were like, no one would ever go into their house and grab a gun and come out and shoot.
They're obviously not from Texas.
And I was like, yes, I would. But then there was all this controversy because it's like when you go into your house, they can't access that area. So like I did break a rule, but I didn't break the rule that they said I broke. Like
Right.
I didn't fail RP, but I did break the rule of like running away into the house because they can't access it.
Right.
So but I got banned for fail RP, which I
That's
didn't.
stupid. Because if you could run in your house in real life, right? And just
Mhm.
lock the door.
Yeah.
And then come out and
So everyone took my side.
yeah,
Like
of course
everyone
they
was
did.
like, yo, dude, like this shit is fucked. So Coil like messaged me and was like, hey, I just want to say like I'm sorry this happened. I'm gonna give you top priority. Like I'm gonna give you like really good priority. And if you have any friends that want to come in, like I got you. Like I'm gonna make this right. And Coil like gave me like a good treatment, man. Like Coil was really good to me after that. And like he really made me feel like super welcome after that. And what ended up happening was I had like the best fucking priority for a while. Like if I joined, I got in like within seconds. So it worked out really well for me. Like I didn't have to wait for anything. And if I had any friends that wanted to come in, I'd be like, yo, like Coil, remember that time you banned me wrongfully? Well, can you let my friend in? And like a lot of my RP friends like got in and they were able to do really well because of that. And they made some really good characters. So I had a really good time like early on GTA because of that. And what ended up happening was like uh everything worked out and I enjoyed it, but my adventures were very different from everyone else's because it ended up becoming this meme where like daytime was like grinding and like gang wars,
Yeah.
nighttime was like witch hunting and Sasquatch hunting and like all this paranormal alien shit, and that was my whole arc. Was like we ended up creating a group of people that would go out and like hunt Sasquatches and aliens and all this shit, and it was like it was fun. It was so much fun.
What was your favorite part of all, like your entire interaction with GTRP? What was like the moment where you were like, this is my favorite?
There's two.
Okay.
Number one is we had this friend that was really ugly. Okay, we called him Sassy because he looked like a Sasquatch, and we were like, we had this whole thing set up where we were gonna take him out into the woods, and we had someone dress up in like a female Sasquatch to like try to like lure him in with pheromones and stuff like that. Like this guy claimed he had female Sasquatch pheromones. He was a professional hunter, right? And we were like, okay, so we're gonna send him out into the woods and we're gonna put him out on like a delivery that he can't make because there's no house in the woods. So he goes into the woods looking for this house. We're waiting there for 30 minutes. We're like, where is this guy? Like, where is he? After 30 minutes, he sends us a picture. He finds a house in the middle of the woods and delivers the food. He's like, I got it, guys. Like, I found it. We're like, dude, there's no fucking way. He found a house? Like, this dude found a house in the middle of the woods and delivered the food. He's like, all right, I'm on my way back. And he was coming back, and we had this, like, person dressed up as, like, a female Sasquatch, and he was trying to allure them and stuff like that. And we had, like, a trap set up, and the dude's like, yo, like, what are you guys doing? And we ended up failing, right? And he's like, we should probably head back home. And we're like, why? He's like, well, it's getting pretty dark. So at that point, we like established that he wasn't a Sasquatch, but he was a werewolf because he wanted to get home before it turned dark, and he didn't want to turn to a werewolf. And every day we would think he's like some different like being, like whether it was like an alien or a Sasquatch. We couldn't figure out what he was ever, but
You never did.
No, we never did. And trying to think. The other one was me, Chance, Poke. Who else was on that adventure? We had this one day where someone set up this crazy fucking adventure for us. Like, we were getting hunted by the government.
Oh,
There were
wow.
aliens. Like, it was this whole like pre-set up event. There was like posters set up for it and everything. Like, it was insane. I just kind of logged in one day, and Poke was like, yo, come. Like, we're going to go on this
Come.
adventure. We had the government coming at us. Like, we were so we ended up
The
going
local government or like federal government?
federal government,
Okay.
like the big feds. Okay, so we ended up going through this like underground facility that was like a research lab, and it was like
And this is all GTRP.
this is all GTRP. And it was like
Okay.
characters there like guiding us through everything, like taking us through. There was this guy who was like a ninja, like taking us through there and taking out guards one by one.
Do you know if this was set up by the devs?
It was set up by the devs
Okay.
a little bit.
Apparently,
so there were
chat is just mentioning that Seer and Meech were with you.
Seer and Meech were with us, and
Yes.
Silent Sentry was the guy who guided us through it, if I'm not wrong.
That's the
right?
first GTA RP I ever saw, for the record.
Yeah, I think it
Silent
was Silent
Sentry.
Sentry. Maybe Chad can correct me if I'm wrong, but it was like one of the most epic things ever. So he's like dressed up as a ninja going through this like science like facility where like they're researching God knows what, and there's one developer who's just like coming in as an NPC, like just pretending like not like nonchalantly that he's just walking around, and he would like take him out over and over again, like the same guy over and over again, but like dressed up as like a different NPC. And then what ended up happening is like the government came onto us, so we stole a boat, and where we were on the boat, and there were helicopters, like Apache helicopters, like coming after us, like shooting us.
Dude.
And then we had to like end up on this island where we were in like a military base, and one of our friends like died, so like we had to like deal with the fact that he was like all shot up and stuff. And at the end, what ended up happening is we were on top of a fucking mountain, and one of us revealed ourselves as an alien, right? And one of my biggest clips was like it was like me, Chance, Poke, and I'm like holding a gun out, and I'm like, stop right there, like stop right there. And there's an alien behind Poke, and Poke's coming towards me because he's mind controlled by an alien, and I'm making it look like I'm shooting Poke, but I shoot the alien behind him. And the alien dies and like falls down to the ground. And then like we're like, okay, the problem is solved. And then Chance starts like getting mind control out of nowhere. We're like, oh god, it's not over. But Chance was in a wheelchair because he had his legs broken.
Oh, was during that? Yeah.
So he starts like walking off the cliff, and I'm like, no! And I try to save him, and instead of saving him, I push him off the fucking mountain. And I'm like, oh god, I just fucking killed him, dude. And then it was just like me and Poke stuck in the mountains for like 30 minutes. Dude, it was like one of the most epic experiences ever. Like, it was the best stream I think I ever
That's-
had.
I think we
Sounds
have.
awesome.
I wanted to have Dustin rate your freestyling.
Oh, wait, what? We're doing this?
He freestyled as his character.
Oh no! You
Did
just
that
want me to rate
happen?
like what already did happen?
Yeah,
It
I
was
think
good.
it's
This was
clip-
this was in VRChat.
Yeah, this was during GTA RP.
Oh god.
Was
Clip
it?
number 2. You got.
I rap a lot, okay, but
Oh, okay.
I don't even.
I'm
I
not
don't
a
even
good
know.
rapper.
I don't even know if it was like rapping necessarily. But
If
it was
we have
freestyle.
if we have a clip, I'll rate it. But I do remember you rapping in VRChat, and I remember saying you need to come over and we need to make a song just for fun.
I would love to.
I
Dude,
do remember that.
Me and Poke used to make music.
I will
together.
show you my studio. After,
All right,
after
I'm
the
down. I'm always
podcast.
down to make music.
Yeah.
I have songs out. I have a SoundCloud.
I think.
Yeah,
this
no, I
is
know.
it,
I've
yeah.
heard it.
This looks right.
What the fuck, Sassy? You were supposed to help me. You were supposed to make sure I fucking break.
What?
Was it after this? Oh, Nina could yell at me if it's.
Sassy.
This is 32
This
minutes.
might be the wrong timestamp.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm asking Nina. Nina's it. By the way, Nina's in the
Sassy.
other room.
So that's Sassy. That's the guy who we were all trying to figure out. So what ended up happening is he got into a big incident, right? And he
Yeah.
had to have his head bandaged. And then we were convinced that instead of being a Sasquatch or a werewolf, that he was a mummy because his head was wrapped up.
Oh.
And then we
got
kept
it.
every day we would give him like a different like mythological creature that we thought he was.
That's the
and we would
guy.
try to prove that
That's
he was
great.
that.
Did you find it?
She said it's a little bit farther into it,
A
but
little bit meaning.
when you see him on a bike, she said.
Well, that doesn't help. What's the timestamp?
Yeah. Okay.
But here's the one thing I will say before we even rate that. We can probably find it. But
Yeah.
there was a time in VRChat, and I remember I had no idea that you did any freestyle. I don't remember if you freestyled for me or if you just showed me your sound. Well, I think you just showed me your SoundCloud. And I was like, oh, wow, this is actually not bad. And I remember telling you, hey, you should come over and we should just mess around and make a song for fun.
I have fun doing it. So me and Poke back in the day, we had a SoundCloud called like the DGB crew, which is the Dick Get Bigger crew.
Nice.
And he like took a picture of like some guy from his school and like reversed his head, just his head. Like his body was perfectly normal, but his head was reversed the other way and it looked super off. You were just like, what's wrong with this picture? Like, what's wrong with this guy? And we made a bunch of random rap songs. Granted, we 90% of them were removed because Poke was like, I don't know if this is stream appropriate nowadays, but like we had a lot of fun. Like we would make a lot of rap songs, and me and Poke used to just spend nights on like this like rap site where you would get a random word and you would have to rap with that word.
Oh, I do that all the time.
And
We did that.
we got really good at that time, but I realized that rapping, like everything else, if you don't keep practicing and you don't stay in it, like you do lose your skills. Like
I don't.
Well, you don't, because
No, I mean, I don't want to say it like that. It's one of those things where I could stop rapping for a year and then I can come back and I'm right where I was.
well, for me, back then I would say I was pretty good. Like
Yeah.
we would do that stuff every single night. Nowadays, like we do hoedowns. Like what we do is like we'll sing songs and like I have to like come up with like random lyrics on the spot, and not like I'm okay, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm not a rap god, but I can I can rhyme, you know.
Right.
I think that's more what this is. Yeah, it's more like that than a rap.
There
Is
you
he
go.
Sassy?
Hey, boss. Hey, boss.
Oh yeah.
Thursday. What's up?
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Here we go. I'm looking for Sassy. You see him today? I need to know if he is okay. We are together inside VRChat. And now the drop, it's gonna get hot.
Yeah.
I don't know where he went, and I'm very scared, and I don't know why, but I'm not prepared. So where
Me.
is he? I want to know.
Look at me.
Please tell me now. Don't
me tell you
be
what's
a
happening.
hoe. Go ahead.
Not gonna be a hoe. Things are
All right,
kinda scary.
That's pretty much the extent of my skills, dude.
Thoughts,
That is the
Dustin?
best thing ever, dude. With the accent and what you're talking about. Like, okay. I don't know if I should compliment your freestyling skills more or your role playing skills more, but they're both really good.
Thank you.
Like, the way that you actually rapped with the way the character is impressive.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Do you think A, would you go back to GTA? What would it take for you to go back? And B, would you play the same character?
So I do want to go back when there is a reset. I do think that my best character will be some kind of shitlord Polish character. So what made me play this character to begin with was Rust. In Rust, I created like the Robert character, which was like the Polish version, because Rust RP had started, and the day before, me and my friend Vor were hanging out in VRChat, and he's this like Serbian dude with like a European accent, and I was like, I think I'm gonna try a Euro accent. Like, will you do Euro RP with me? And we were just like shitlording around, but I was just like sitting there, and I was like, shut up the fuck up, and I would say like all these things that just don't make any sense, and chat was like, dude, this is really funny, like you should make this a character. So I made this like super shitlord character that like was foreign, didn't understand how anything worked, like everything pissed him off, like I constantly like swore and was vulgar and got violent and stuff like that. And I was next door to Shroud, And Shroud was like, dude, like, I think my biggest pop off moment in Rust RP was like, I showed Shroud like a tour of my house. And my house was basically like I was living with Seer in like a little corner that he gave me. Like I was basically homeless. I was like, yeah, that's my bed. And it was like just like hay on the ground and like all this shit. And I was like, oh yeah, this is my guest room. This is very nice. And it was just like a different corner of the room that was like all shitty and stuff like that. And Shroud was like, oh, this is your guest room, huh? Like, and he like reacted to everything super well. And the night after that, like Shroud gave me this huge shout out. He was like, dude, I think this guy's my favorite RPer. Like, this guy's really funny. And then like my stream went from like 3 to 4K viewers to like 6K viewers overnight because Shroud shouted me out. And I took that momentum immediately afterwards. Like GTA RP came out, so I was going into GTA RP with like 6K viewers, and that grew to like 13K like average during that time zone. And I became like the biggest streamer in GTA RP during that like DGen time zone because there was no one else to watch.
What is the DGen time zone? Would you say like past 12 or like
past midnight?
Past midnight.
So I would start off with like VRChat or whatever I wanted, and then I would swap to GTA. And that would be from like midnight till like sometimes like 7 or 8 or 9 a.m., which was crazy because there was like Kyle and Penta and a bunch of people that would come on after that. And they were like, bro, I really want to RP with you. Like, your character's really funny.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I don't think I could stay up that late. Like, sorry, dude. And like, I missed out on like a lot of good opportunities. But I think one of the big things was like, I was XQC's boss. So I would always fuck with him, and I'd be like, "You need to coming to work, man. Like you think you can just go doing whatever the fuck you want, man. Like what are you doing?" And he would like just give me shit. He'd never show up to work, and like I'd give him a hard time. And then,
so XQC kind of played himself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it was fun. I was one of the few people that didn't dick ride XQC to get viewers. Like, I actually like just made my own content and went really well, and people came because I had the craziest adventures. And I think my biggest success was the subreddits, because LSF and the GTA clips, like, they loved me. Like they posted me everywhere, and I think that was the one thing that really made me pop off.
So I remember you mentioning this earlier, where it started feeling like a job. When did that happen?
So,
sounded like you were having fun.
My closest friends were Meech and Nidus.
Yep.
And Nidus was like, I still think he's one of the best RPers like on that server. He's so good, and his characters were so good, and he couldn't show up in that time slot anymore.
Yeah.
So one of my biggest like partners in crime, like people that I did things with, wasn't around. And then Meech kind of like started doing his own thing too. I felt like he was like less RPing his character and more RPing himself, because he had this character named Pilbus, and Pilbus started off as this like guy who like couldn't handle anything, and he like I can't even do the voice, like like, he was like this like loserly guy that would like collect L's, and would be like common Pilbus L. And then
I remember him.
And then Meech, Meech ended up like becoming like a Giga Chad character, like had like sports cars, like had bitches. I was like, Meech, bro, like what happened to your character, dude? This is not Pilbus, dude. He was like, listen, man, I'm just like moving forward, you know, I'm just doing my own thing. So he started doing his own thing. And after that, what ended up happening, like, it was just the same shit every day. I would come in, and it would be like, everyone would come to me and be like, yo, Rob, what are we doing today? What are we doing today? And I did not want to fucking create the story for like 30 different people every day. Because no one knew what to do, because what ended up happening is nighttime became grinder hours. Basically, it was like the hours where everyone would go out and do like hunting jobs and all that shit that there was no RP. Like there was literally no RP. So I wanted to start a whole war against grinders. Like I wanted to be like, okay, these people are like out there, they are hunting, they're doing all this stuff. Nobody ever in town. We don't have any customers. So we're going to go out there. We're going to hunt these guys. We're going to hunt the hunters.
Dude, I was about to say, that's what I would have done. I would have started some sort of crime thing. It's like late, you know, that's what I would have done.
I couldn't get enough people on board for that.
Really?
And because at that point, like a lot of my friends had already quit. And eventually I just got tired of writing the script for everyone. Dean literally gave me Burger Shot. He's like, you could have Burger Shot. And at that point I was like, I beat the game. Like there's like, I'm literally like Burger Shot was the biggest store at that point. Like it was bigger than Rooster's Rest and all that stuff. And I was like, what is there left for me to work for? Like I've got Burger Shot. Like I literally own the fucking business. Like there's nothing left for me to work for.
Yeah, you won the game.
And what ended up happening is I would go to wars with Rooster Rest, and people would be like, "War against Rooster Rest, number
Again.
15."
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, what do you want me to do? Like, and then I like started hanging out with the Vagos and like selling meth and stuff like that, and like it was fun. And then people were like, "Gang RP," and I was like, "What do you guys want me to fucking do at this point?" Like I literally like
Basically, you ran out of ideas.
so
is
I
what it
had,
sounds like.
I mean, I had ideas.
Yeah.
I just didn't have the people to do it with.
Right.
I started a business where like we would have people dress up as like ghosts and stuff and haunt places, and we were like the Ghostbusters that would come in, and people just wouldn't take it seriously. Like
Yeah.
we would have people come up and dress up as ghosts and be like, "Woo!" and then I call them and I'd be like, sounds like you guys need Ghostbuster. Like I can take care of this problem. Oh, I'm big professional. And like no one took it seriously. Like there was one business
Dude, I'm
that
not
took it
gonna lie.
seriously.
Who should take it serious?
I-
That is hilarious,
Yes.
though.
I love that.
That's
Yeah.
great.
So we literally, I would be like, hey, you go into this place, you pretend you are ghost, okay? Like dress yourself up like ghost, be scary, and then we're gonna come in and we're gonna pretend like we get rid of you, okay? And I thought it was something that could have been really funny, but there was just
dude, you explaining it is funny.
yeah, there was not enough people that were into it. Like
Yeah.
everyone just wanted to grind.
Got it.
Most of the businesses were busy, and it was just a bad hour to stream.
Changing topics a little bit, and we don't have to talk about this if you don't want to. But this type of content is very near and dear to my heart. Dungeons and Dragons content.
Mm-hmm.
You were doing like D&D in that whole group, and
Oh, I know where we're going.
We can go into it. Dude, I will talk about whatever you guys want to talk about.
A reason I bring it up is because D&D has like always been a huge part of my life, very
Mhm.
important to me. Literally, like I have so many friendships that are just based in the fact that we played D&D together.
Yeah.
He does
um,
D&D sessions, and I play one of
on
those
this-
sessions. A lot of
on
people
this
do.
table,
This is
that's
what he
what-
made
yeah.
it for, actually.
But I'm just curious. Did you have experience with D&D before you played in that group? You know, what did you think of it when you played? And of course, obviously, there's a whole like controversy.
Yeah. Dude, I'll talk about all of that. So, what happened was, so everyone knows Arcadum. Arcadum and me were friends a long time ago. And what ended up happening was Arcadum would have these lobbies where he would like role play as a Reinhardt, and he actually introduced me to my girlfriend at the like.
Wait,
no.
He probably knows. Can you explain to me what a Reinhardt is?
A Reinhardt is a Overwatch character, and
Oh,
what
okay.
he would do is like Reinhardt's this big bulky guy with like a hammer that's like massive and like
Got
just
it.
beats the shit out of everyone with a hammer. And he would come in and he would role play while he was doing it, and he would like scream and be super hype, and everyone thought it was really funny,
Yeah.
and people really liked him. And like I became friends with him early on, and in one of his lobbies was my current girlfriend. Like I met her there, and
Yeah.
like I remember one day I was hanging out in Discord with Arcadum and who's now my girlfriend Stephanie. This was before Stephanie was my girlfriend, and Arcadum was having like a really hard time. Like he's like, my stream's not popping off, like nothing's happening, nothing's working out. And I was like, bro, I got you, man. I'm gonna help you out. Like I have this org. Like I was like really close with Rogue at the time, so I was like, I'll get you in Rogue as a streamer. You'll get partnered. You'll start making some income, and you could actually like make a difference in your life. And like like I'll put your name in there. And I helped him out a lot early on.
Yeah.
And like Stephanie was in that Discord call, and she like messaged me, and she's like, I didn't know you were so nice. Like, when did you become this like nice guy? Like, I thought you were just a piece of shit and all this stuff. And I was like, look, man, like, I like the guy. And when I'm close to someone, like I do whatever I can for them. And Stephanie told me like that was the moment where she like kind of like fell in love with me, because like, I was willing to like bend over backwards for this guy. And we ended up like becoming close with him. And what ended up happening was we had like the whole D&D thing, and it was like me, Chance, and Moon, Surefour. Who else was in there? I'm drunk, so I don't.
Devin Nash.
Yeah, Devin Nash. Devin's a really cool guy. So that was fun. That was my first experience with that. I really liked my character because I had this big orc that was like, okay.
You guys were
And
playing evil characters, right?
we were an evil campaign. Our campaign popped off really hard because we had some good characters. I ended up having an axe, and my character ended up becoming like one of the most like powerful beings in the universe or some shit by the end. Because I had some dumb spec that like I would bleed, but whenever I bled, like I would heal, and like I had like unless you one shotted me, it was impossible to kill me. Like that was like the thing. And I had a duel with Surefour where he one-shotted me because I was convinced that I was invincible, and he kind of shut me up because I was pretty convinced I was like the strongest character imaginable. And then he one-shotted me, so it fucked me up.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening was we all enjoyed the campaign, and we had a lot of fun. And what ended up happening is one day I get a call from Arcadum, and he's like, "Hey man, I need you to pick me up. Like I have some issues going on." It's like, okay, like what's going on, dude? You want to talk about it? He's like, "I'll talk about it in the car." Me and Stephanie drove 3 hours to his house to pick him up. Okay.
Yeah.
We go there, we pick him up. And what ends up happening is like, okay, what happened? Like, please fucking tell me everything that happened. And he's like, well, I had an issue with this girl and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, what happened? And he tells me the story, and I could tell he's bullshitting. Like
Yeah.
at this point, like I could tell he's bullshitting, right? And he's like on his way to my friend's house, and I messaged my friend, and I'm like, warning, 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 like red flags. Like, I think this dude's about to get canceled. Like, there's some red flags here. Like,
Yeah.
he's not telling me everything, you know? Like, and I'm like, I'm like, Arcadum, you cannot bullshit me right now. I know that whatever you're telling me is not right. Like, you need to tell me right now everything that's going on. Like, you need to tell me the absolute fucking truth as to what's going on. He's like, okay, it wasn't one girl, it was 2 girls. And I was like,
yeah.
okay, and what happened? He's like, and he like came up with this like bullshit ass story. And I was like, bro, I was like, is that it? And he's like, yeah. And then fucking like 3 days later, there's all these people that come out against him and all this stuff. And it just like betrayed me because like the reason this moment felt like absolute fucking garbage is because like I met my girlfriend through this guy. Like I love my girlfriend
Yes.
very much, you know? And we like saw him as like this person that brought us together. We both really like admired him for that. And it like, dude, I was in tears, dude. Like I was like that shit broke my heart because I was like, dude, like I trusted this dude. Like I thought this was a good dude and all this stuff. And all this shit just comes out about it. And I'm just like, man, like, why, dude? Like, why can't you just fucking tell me? Because I was like, Arcadum, when you do something wrong, the best thing you could do is expose yourself. Like, go fucking out there and just admit what you did. Just go out there. Like, you could be the first person to say, like, I fucked up. Like, I did this wrong. I did this wrong. And instead, he like fucking tried to gaslight all of Twitter and do all this shit.
And
And like,
everyone really. I know. I don't know like a entire big deal into this whole ordeal, but I do know that my brother felt similar to how like almost betrayed, like
Exactly.
lied to, kind of like, and it hurt him, and it's pretty hard to like hurt my brother. You know, like he's
Mhm.
seems almost invincible, always happy, and I know it upset him. So
I'm not the type of person to hate someone because everyone else hates. And I talk
Right.
about that on my stream all the time. Like, I'm not super into cancel culture. I'm not super
Right.
into like, I form my own opinion.
People
on
make
people, like-
mistakes.
Yeah. And I believe that people can make mistakes and like come back and redeem themselves.
like me.
But when you lie to like your closest friends and you straight up lie to their friends, like lie to their face and like tell them like, oh yeah, no, there's nothing wrong. And they're like, bro, tell me the truth right now.
Yeah.
You know, how can I ever trust someone like that again?
Never. You
Right.
can't.
I'm very much on that same page. Like
Yeah.
if someone did something fucked up and I'm close to them and they tell me, see them a lot more
likely-
favorably
more
than
likely, yeah.
than if they also lie to me about it. So
I don't think anyone is perfect. And I think
Right.
everyone makes a mistake. And like how you learn from those mistakes is what defines you as like a person. Like everyone has skeletons in their closet. Everyone has stupid shit that they've done in the past. But like I believe that being able to like come out and be like, yo, I fucked up. Like I did this, you know, I'm gonna learn from this is what separates like a good person from like a shitty person, you know?
yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Versus just waiting until there's no other option, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not into the people that just kind of like ignore issues until they go away and then just feel like if I just never talk about this again, like, you know, no one will notice it anymore. Like that's just not my style, you know? Like I believe that if you do something wrong, like and you get exposed for it, like you should be held
Own up to
accountable.
it.
You should learn from it. And if you could learn from it, like I mean, you know, there's a reason that like if someone breaks the law, you don't just fucking kill them. Like you put them in jail. You hope that they could learn from it, and you know, you hope that they come out like a better person, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I will say from personal experience, that's where I was at one point. I mean, we talked about this in the first podcast, and I want to get too into it, but I went through a lot of shit with my brother. I did a lot of messed up stuff to my brother. I was doing a lot of bad things. But I will say, the person I am today, I'm really proud of. And it's because I've learned from all that. And I've made myself a better person from those mistakes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's important.
Yeah, when I was in high school, I was a big bully, and
Yeah.
I told my chat a lot that like I watched this show called I think it's called like A Silent Voice or something. It's like this anime show where this girl gets like super hardcore bullied, and I saw that show and I was like in tears. Like I was like, holy shit, like I was this person, like I was this dickhead, like making fun of this fucking girl who's like defenseless, and like I talked to my stream about it. I was like, man, I was an asshole, dude. Like I was a piece of shit, and like nowadays, like like I have a very like a community that's very like I don't know, like welcoming
Tight
to
knit?
all sorts of people. Like
Okay.
we have a bunch
Mhm.
of like trans people, we have a bunch of gay people, we have a bunch of like people of all races, and we're very very welcoming and like very diverse and stuff like that. And I truly believe even in like VR chat, when I first started VR chat, and I'll admit this, like I will admit this because like this is what happened, right? When I first started playing the game, I did not understand what it meant to be trans. Like to me, it didn't make any sense. Like I was like, bro, from like an evolutionary standpoint, it doesn't make any sense. Like, why would someone want to, like, why would a guy want to pretend to be a girl or all this stuff? And then I had this person at the time, their name was Jakey. They come up to me and they explained everything to me. They're like, dude, like you're born and you like feel like you're in the wrong body, and like this is something that haunts you every single day, and like you sit there and like you're miserable and all this stuff, and they explain like the whole story to me, and I'm like, holy shit, like this
Makes
shit
more
is
sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like and I always tell people like a lot of the stuff behind hate and stuff like that is complete ignorance. Like you
Yes.
just don't understand. Like people that hate on certain things like do not understand what those people are going through.
Dude, I relate to this so much,
Yeah.
and actually for similar reasons, because I used to run a LARP. You
Mhm.
know what a LARP is, right?
I know what a LARP is.
Obviously.
Yeah, I used to run a monthly LARP. It's kind of similar to like doing VR chat, right?
Mhm.
And it became like a sanctuary for like LGBTQ, trans people, etc. And like it literally like changed my worldview. Like
Yeah.
it made me so much more accepting. And it was just exposure. Literally, that's all it was. It was the difference from going from not knowing anyone in this situation to knowing a ton of people in this situation and having like the empathy, right?
Right.
For them. So it like honestly, honestly, I relate to that so much. I'm sorry to like go too much
No,
off on
no.
a tangent, but like that really like hit home for me a little bit.
So that's a big thing in VR chat. VR chat has a huge trans community, and the reason is because in VR chat you could be whatever you want to be,
Yep.
and it really opened up my eyes to. I mean, now a lot of my best friends are either trans or like gay and stuff like that, and like where I grew up, it's like if someone was gay, you were like, whoa, like bro, like I don't know if I could hang out with you and stuff like that, but like VR chat like really opened up my eyes, and like it's just so interesting to like see how people view all this stuff, and like you start to like see people as people, because I've never in my life like looked at races and be like, oh yeah, this race is weird or anything, because like I grew up in Chicago, and Chicago is
Mhm.
super diverse, but
Very.
in Chicago, like a lot of people were super like anti-gay. Like people were like, you're an F word and all this stuff and all this, and like it was like a common thing. Like if you did something that was like with your homie, like people would be like, dude, you're gay. That's weird, bro. And
I
like
mean, I feel like that was a whole different thing a few years back. I remember the F word used to just be like what I'd say to my friends. Like,
yeah,
and it
was.
it wasn't meant to be derogatory at all.
Mhm.
But I appreciate where culture has gotten, and where we've all gotten to the point where that's just not a good word, because I never thought of it as derogatory, but it is,
So I've talked to a lot of trans people about this, and I think the best thing about it is if you meet someone who does not understand it, like instead of like sitting there and like going off on them and just being like saying you're a piece of shit,
Just
fuck
listen.
you. No. But like let's say there's someone who's like hateful, right? And I've talked to a lot of trans people. Like instead of like sitting there and saying you're a piece of shit, like fuck you, like all this stuff, instead of spreading hate yourself, like just educate them. Just be like, yo, like this is what it's all about, like trans people are fucking people too, like and all this stuff. And like a lot of times, like I mean, sometimes people will just be childish and be like, yeah, fuck that. But instead of like being like them and being like hateful and being like a shitty person, like you've attempted to like educate them, right? And like you've attempted to be like, yo, like this is what it's about, you know? And a lot of times people will just be like, okay, like cool, and they'll just be like super accepting. I mean, that's what happened with me. Like I came in and I didn't understand it. Like I didn't understand what it was all about. Like I was super ignorant. Jakey came in, educated me about it, told me everything it is about trans life, told me about all the troubles they had growing up. I was like, holy shit, like this is serious. Like this is big stuff, you know? Like because like you view it and you're just like, you know, this is like stupid, like whatever. But then you learn about like the troubles, like, bro, imagine having to like come out to like your parents and being like,
Yeah.
hey, like I think
And the
You know, I
not
think I'm
only the
trans.
courage that takes, like
Yeah.
especially with the society we live in, and that's why I
you
feel
could
like
get
making it,
disowned.
I feel like making it more acceptable is important for that reason. Because imagine having to live your entire life trapped, like
Mhm.
without being able to say anything, and just being like, I have to just accept it myself because that's society.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
hmm
And I just feel that's unfair.
Everyone should play VRChat because it'll teach you like trans rights and like gay rights, dude. Like that's one thing that VRChat can teach anyone, dude. You will not last a day in that game if you are homophobic, dude.
Yeah.
Like straight
Right.
up.
Right.
All right. Just have a few. These are more like quick, like you know, you don't have to go into too much detail.
Sure.
Favorite content creator on creators on Twitch other than yourself.
Your brother, Sodapoppin, has always been one of my favorites.
He
Growing up,
sucks. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
growing up, I was a big fan of Rekful. I would watch Rekful's Hearthstone streams, like the fucking greedy goblins and all that stuff. Like that was a big part of me. He was actually someone I really wanted to meet that I never did, and that was unfortunate.
Really? I didn't know. Oh, I didn't know that.
Never. I wasn't big
Wow.
enough of a streamer back then to like, you know, be able to like come and be like, yo, Rekful, like, what's up?
Wait, did you live in Austin or did you move to Austin?
I just moved to Austin like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So
I
you,
came
like-
from Chicago.
Dang. Wait, did you move like right after or right?
We didn't have the snowstorm arc, if that's
Okay.
Right.
we.
So,
I
yeah.
that was after that, like a year after that.
I just want to say he would have met you and he would have loved
Yeah.
you. I know he would have.
I hope so. 'Cause
I
I
know he
loved
would've.
him, dude.
He
I
would've.
I loved everything about him. I watched the stream religiously. Him, Lyric, and Dan's Gaming were like my big Twitch.
Rekful was one of those people that he just saw people for who, like the view count thing that you mentioned in the tweet. That wasn't him. It was
Yeah.
you. He,
Your
like-
brother is the same way.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know he is. I
Yeah.
know he is.
I was very lucky to work for Rekful, and he made me feel so good about myself. All the he praised me for things that like
Yeah.
I was like no other job would do this. You know what I mean? He's such a good.
There's just
person.
something so genuine about him. Like
He
because he was
genuine. That's the
he was
word.
honest. Like
Yeah.
he was
Yes.
honest, and I think that's what I respected about him because I'm really big into honesty, and it's something that I bring into my stream. Like I will just straight up say whatever's on my mind, and people will be like, "Bro, like what did you just say?"
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Dude, that's just the way I am. Like that's just the person I am. Like I like to say whatever's on my mind."
Dude, it actually blows my mind that you never got to meet Rekful, like, because I think y'all would have been really good friends.
Yeah,
Y'all have a very, like,
I agree.
you just would have clicked. That's all I can really
he's
say.
he's definitely one
Yeah.
of the people that I really wanted to meet. I watched the stream like religiously. Like I said, Dan's Gaming because Dan has that horror month, and during October I would keep. I am obsessed with horror stuff. Like I grew up on Silent Hill. I grew up on Resident Evil. I would watch that motherfucker stream for 24 hours. Like
Yeah.
every October, like I was there watching that stream 24 hours. Me and my friends. I could tell you I could tell you like all the funny moments in every game he's ever played. Like I've seen it all. And then your brother is definitely one of them too. Your brother's definitely a real one.
Yeah,
And
he
he's-
is.
I actually owe him a lot because he's popped off my stream a lot. But not only that, but he's also like taken me to a whole bunch of events and stuff like that. Like your brother is legitimately one of the most genuine people I've ever met.
He is.
He is a real one. He puts on this facade that he's a dickhead on stream, but he's legitimately one of the nicest guys I've ever met.
What I always say is he's the biggest streamer that you could have a normal conversation with.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that's the funny thing about that was like I was at an event for TwitchCon, and we were at this big party, and Hassan's brother was there. Okay, this guy who does not stream at all, and he's just kind of examining everything. And like XQC's at this party, like all the big streamers are at this party, and you just see everyone like trying to like hop on like XQC's dick, like hop on
Yeah.
Buddha's dick, like all these big streamers. And me and Seer are just like hanging off on the side. And Hassan's brother comes up to me and he's like, yo, like, like, what's the deal with you? And I tell him everything. And like, we have this nice conversation for like 30 minutes. At the end of the conversation, he's like, bro, you are the only normal person here. he's like, I don't know what the fuck is going on back there, dude.
Yeah.
I just see a bunch of people following each other around, like trying to fucking leech off each other. He's like, you are one of the only people I could have a genuine conversation with. Like, the second I came in here, you didn't ask me like how many viewers I had or anything. Like,
Yeah.
and it's just like,
It's kind of sad how it
I
is
will
that
say,
way.
I put Seer in that same category as someone who is very real, and I think a big part of it with Seer is his success came later in life. You
mhm.
know, so he kind of like lived normally for a while, and
Seer's
uh,
also just
yes,
such a good person. Like, he's such a good person.
Seer is one of those people on my list. Like, I have a list of people that I do content with that I'm like, this is a real one. Like,
Yep.
it's like
Yeah.
Seer, Chance, Burn. Like,
Burn
there's
It was
there's
in
great.
that tweet, and
Also
I
love
agreed with
Burn.
all of them. Also, Spaceboy.
Spaceboy is
He's
very
really
very
cool.
real.
Yeah.
Like, there are some real ones, and like sometimes when the camera comes off and the stream comes off, like we'll all hang out and like have real talks, and like
Yeah.
you learn like these are like genuine dudes. Like,
Yep.
like granted, Sears replaced me with Rich, so I don't see him. As
Called out. All right. Let's see. Underrated content creators. So like maybe some people that like, maybe are like sub 1,000, sub 500.
Murder Crumpet, 100%. Murder Crumpet
Oh,
does
I
get
agree with
2,000
that.
viewers, but he's very witty. He's
Mhm.
very funny. I think if he was to network and throw himself out there, he could pop off. He's basically like, I mean, he does everything that I do. Like Crumpet will joke around and be like, everything I learned from Rob, but he's very fast witted, and he's like quickly created like his own methods and stuff like that. And I think that he has a lot of potential, but he doesn't network. Like, just like basically VRChat is like, my date night is the only network for VRChat.
Yeah.
Other than that, no one comes into VRChat. And I wish Crumpet had his own little thing where he can bring streamers in and like actually network a little bit.
I respect Crumpet just for just what he does, and he sticks to it, and he is entertaining in his own way that no one else is.
He's very funny. He's a great role player.
He can say he learned everything from you, but he has such a completely different style,
Mhm.
and he's very good at what he does. So I agree with that 100%.
Mhm.
I would love to see him pop off. And I think some of his viewers have been like posting clips on LSF, and he's been doing a little bit better on LSF and stuff like that. I don't like to use LSF as like a
But it's
meter of success, but it does
It
help
is.
a lot.
Yeah.
It does
Yeah.
help a lot.
Favorite person to role play with in anything, VR chat, GTA, Rust.
Nidus in GTA was just god tier, because Nidus's character was this character that would dress up as other characters. So he was role playing multiple characters as one character, expecting you not to know that like he's playing these other characters. So he would like put on a shitty disguise over his character, and he would do his main character's accent with another accent on top of that, which is like super impressive.
What? I
Like,
gotta
he would
see
combine
this.
two accents into one,
That is
right?
nuts.
Yeah,
That
that
is talent.
insane.
And he would have multiple characters, and it was funny because like I would be like, oh, I have this friend that's a hunter, which is also one of his characters, but I'd be with him, so I'd call him, and his phone would start ringing, and he'd be like, oh, I have a phone call, I'll be right back. And he'd like go off to the side, and like we could see each other, and he's like talking to me on the phone, but he's pretending like he's talking to someone else, and like it would lead to a lot of like really funny RP situations. But he's someone amazing to RP with. Crumpet is always really, really good to RP with. And
My
there's-
dad, dude. I'm
your
kidding,
dad,
I'm
dude.
kidding, I'm
If
kidding.
if your dad comes back, I
He
would
will,
host
he will.
an elimination dating specifically.
He will,
for him.
and I will say this: when it does happen, I need to be a part of it.
That would be.
Absolutely.
I don't need
Come
to
on.
stream it. I don't give a fuck about
you
any
could
of
be
that.
his coach.
Yeah, I need to
Everyone
be
gets
there.
a coach.
Yes, love it.
I would love to have him back.
You do a lot of role play content. Have you ever considered acting? Was that ever an
Mm.
aspiration for you?
It was never something I grew up thinking that I can do. I never thought I was any good at like what I did. So my whole role playing thing started with Poke, actually.
Mhm.
Me and Poke used to be best friends, like in the whole world. Like, we used to hang out 24/7. Like, basically what happened was Poke introduced me to Gary's mod RP, like Dark RP. And my first ever RP scenario was with Poke. We owned an apartment, and we were like, how funny would it be if we just made all the furniture on the ceiling upside down? But what happened was there was cops that came to our apartment because they heard we had a noise complaint. And they like came into our apartment and all the furniture was upside down. And they came in and they were like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on in here? And we had money printers in the closet, which were super illegal. They were like, so we need to examine the closet. And we were like, no, you can't examine the closet. And not only that, but we made the closet super cursed. Like there was like a bunch of like bones and like all this like fucked up shit in the closet. And we just kept saying, oh yeah, like check out this, check out this over here. And like we were trying to like distract them from the closet over and over again. We're like, okay, I guess you have to get going now. And eventually they checked out the closet and like we had this super funny RP scenario where we got fucking arrested for having like this cop like opened the closet and there was like hooks with like blood all over them. There was like babies in there, like dead babies, like all sorts of weird shit in there, and like money printers. Every illegal thing you could possibly imagine was in this fucking closet. And the guys were like, holy shit, dude, like what the fuck is this? And then he came, he was like the pioneer of VRChat. Like people say like VRChat, like Poke made VRChat and I kept it alive. Like that is true. Like Poke made VRChat. Like the dude pioneered it, right?
Yeah.
At that point we weren't as close anymore. But he like started playing. I was like, bro, we should role play in this game. And he was like, yeah, come on by. And I would like role play and stuff with him. And he ended up quitting the game. And I just ended up falling in love with it and staying with it. And I think he is the reason that I am the role player that I am today.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we're gonna
go on to the next part, which is going to be only YouTube content. Correct?
Yeah. So we are going to be ending, and we're gonna have extra bonus content for.
Can we get
YouTube.
the YouTube channel posted in the chat, because
Yes.
for every episode we have a little bit of extra content that goes a little bit over that you can only see on the YouTube. So if we can get the YouTube link showed in chat, and if you guys could sub, that would be amazing.
Yeah, it is youtube.com/@channelfproductions. YouTube like changed their system, so we have an @channelfproductions. All the previous podcasts are posted there. Last one before this was Simply, but I know a lot of people in chat probably would be interested to go back and look at the Chance one.
Sodapoppin, Alinity.
A lot of my viewers
Simply.
really like Chance.
Yeah. So my brother was our first one, Sodapoppin.
And we're gonna keep doing this. And honestly, we only like went through like half of our outline with Rob, so maybe we'll convince him to come on again in a few months.
I'm down to do it again. I had fun.
This was such a good conversation. Thank you so much for doing this.
You just are.
Bro, I hang out with mutes. I have to talk all the fucking time.
And you've done podcasts. Honestly, this was so great. Chat.
Well, another
awesome.
thing, before we actually go into the extra content, if you guys are wondering what the extra content will be, we are going to go over the dark side of VRChat with a game of Never Have I Ever as bonus content.
Dude, the dark side.
Yeah.
Dude, there was a guy who made a video called The Dark Side of VRChat, and he made up this rumor that my lobby, like girls had to post pictures of themselves naked to get in, which was absurd, dude. It was absurd. And this dude like DM'd me on fucking Twitter, and he's like, I have this guy who came up against you and was like, you're saying that you have people that have to post naked pictures of themselves to get into the lobby. I was like, who? It's an anonymous person. And he has like this video on his YouTube with like this person like, hey. And I'm like, bro, come on, bro. You can't even tell me who the person is that fucking told you this. Like they're on your fucking stream with like a fucking voice changer, dude. This shit was whack.
that's just made up for content, it sounds like.
Also, we just created a new Discord specifically for Channel F. I think it's !new Discord. Trying to build our community out there because we do this about every 2 weeks.
So far, it's been every 2 weeks.
Yeah, but mainly stuff on YouTube, and we have other stuff that goes up. Hasn't happened yet, but other stuff that will go on YouTube that doesn't get streamed on Twitch. So please check that out. And yeah, thank you so much, Rob. This was awesome.
I had a lot of fun. Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much, Rob. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for getting me out of the house.
One of my favorite guests, to be honest.
Yes.
So
this is great.
Chat, we also really appreciate you guys. Make sure you sub to the YouTube. That's what's really important. And thank you guys for joining us.
And if you don't already follow up, Rob, twitch.tv/Roflgator.
Thank you guys.
Yo, welcome y'all. I know you just watched the entire podcast on Twitch, my channel, but we are doing the bonus content now, and we are going to talk about the dark side of VRChat. We have a couple questions for Roflgator. Mostly, we're playing Never Have I Ever, and we're just going to figure out some of the dark sides of VRChat. Razor, do you have any questions to start off?
Sure. We do some never have I ever, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Wait, do I have to drink if I've done it?
In VR chat?
Yeah, I've done some things in VRChat.
Then sure, yeah. I haven't played enough VR chat to be able to be a part of it, I
I'm gonna
think.
be honest, I probably haven't done any of these crazy things that we're gonna ask.
All right, so how about never have I ever walked in on someone ERPing?
Okay, that's
Yeah, I would assume that one. would happen.
Multiple times.
I haven't. What? I mean, it really depends on like how far it means. Like I've walked in on two people like kissing. Does that count?
Kissing in VR chat?
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Right? It is. I've seen it.
I have
Even doing the.
I've had to
noises.
ban so we have this like DJ night like rule where there's no ERPing at DJ night because there's VTubers and like streamers there and stuff who don't want to watch people fuck.
Yeah.
I have walked in on people fucking at DJ night and I've had to ban them from like multiple events because of it.
Well, okay. You might know this, maybe not even from personal experience, but what does really fucking in ER chat or VR chat mean? Like, does that just mean like the thrusting action or like?
So in VR chat,
Say it.
in VR chat, we have what's called the DPS, the dynamic penetration system. Okay.
Are you
Yeah.
actually talking about like the whole deal they have? That's
Mhm.
oh dear.
So what
Lord.
happens is
People
like
actually get that.
there is a whole system, and at this point, it's become a standard on avatars. Okay, there are DPS toggles, and what happens is you could toggle a that will aimbot into a okay, like it'll aimbot into there. You should probably censor this on YouTube if you're gonna play this on YouTube, okay? But it'll so what happens is like let's say, and I've never done this, but let's say that I want to use my on someone's. Okay, I'll use the word.
no.
Okay, it will aim towards my and like if I move left and right, it'll stay with it.
Hey guys, it's DKane. We were gonna put some extra content on our YouTube, but after filming the content, we don't know if it's going to be too extreme for YouTube. So instead, we are going to put it on our Patreon, which is patreon.com/channelf. If you want to check it out, we would have put it on YouTube, but we're not sure if it would be okay to even put on there. So if you guys want to see that content, it is available for you guys. Make sure you go check it out at patreon.com/channelf. Thanks, guys.